He was a failure. He was a monumental failure. The first year, 2015, we signed Revis back. We got Marcus Gilchrist and Buster Screen and Antonio Cromartie. We drafted Leo. And we had Wilkerson and Sheldon Richardson and Snacks Harrison and all these guys, right? So we had a good year. We brought in Brandon Marshall. We had Eric Decker. Oh, man. Fitzpatrick. And the magic of all that got us a pretty good year. But as is standard for us, we ended up losing in the last game to Rex Ryan's Buffalo Bills. Little, yee, take that, Jets fans. Like, that's how it goes, right? Yeah! Or it could mean 12. If you want me to slide back 10 spots out of the top 3, past the top 5, past the top 10, you better be coming with more than a first next year and a first the year after that. I want a first, a second, a third. I want a first and second next year. And I want a first and third, and then the year after that. That's why. And they were like, we can't afford that. He said, I know you can't. So just tell him we didn't talk. I don't want to embarrass you. That you don't have enough money to pay for my drill. My drill is worth $380, you see. And you're coming here with $50. You better talk to the Dolphins. I hear they're cheap. Yo, what is happening, you crazy bastards? Look at you all in here. Can I just tell you something? Number one, I look forward to this all day. I want you to know that. I mean that sincerely. I'm not just blowing smoke up your asses. But I've been driving all day long. I'm now in Virginia and I am fucking exhausted. I am out of my mind, tired. But it's you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, and I mean this in the best possible way, and it's all compliments. If it wasn't for you guys, I would have been sleeping 2 hours ago. I'm telling you, man, I'm toast. But here we are, guys. I have a really cool thing. As you know, Jimmy will not be with us tonight, but I have a cool contingency, let's call it. And this is going to be really exciting. This is week 1 of a special guest. And I'm going to bring him on right now so you guys can meet him. I'm sure you already, all of you already know him, but this is Harrison Glazer. Let's say hello to this special, special man. Harrison.
What up, man? I like that. Special. That's an awesome intro.
Well,
Thank you.
I got to thank you too. I got to watch this little ticker here. See that? He's a special boy. That's you. See that?
Love it, man. Love it.
Yeah. So look, Harrison, really, man, I know, we busy schedules all over the place. I get it. This is a late one. And I really feel grateful that you're able to come here and join us. You'll see these guys are the absolute best. A lot of them you probably already communicate with, quite frankly. But this group in this particular forum is badass. And I'm really grateful that you're able to come here. But why don't you take a second, let everybody know where you're from, where they can find you, and then we'll move into the draft.
Yeah, no doubt. It's interesting with my name. I noticed on the bottom, I see it scrolling through. It's Glaser, but still pronounced. It's weird because it's pronounced Glazer, like it has a Z. But so I'm Harrison Glazer. Really happy to be here with you guys today. Excited to be here on this Monday night. Thank you always for, awesome that we're here together. My company is Take Flight Media. I run my own company. I do a lot of jet stuff, Jets takes, everything going on with the Jets. You could find me on Twitter, but I have a podcast that I'd really love for you guys to check out. I do my podcast every Monday night, a little earlier today, live 7 p.m. It's right there on the bottom, the Take Flight Spittin' Fire podcast. Please tune in and happy to be here with you guys.
Yeah, man, the Take Flight Spittin' Fire podcast, dude.
That's what you got to do. You got to spit that fire.
That's right, man.
Saying how it is.
And as you can see with my technological wizardry, I've already changed your name to the correct spelling. You see that, man?
There you go.
I'm all right. We're going to say hello to some dudes here. Some of you guys get here early, and I'm always tickled when I pop in and you guys are already here. I want to say hello to Gary B, Scott Wilson, Armand Mosin, Big Green's back. Thank you, sir. We have, let's see who else. Garrett Ham's in here. Don Greco. Oh, you guys are the shit, man. Bob Kraut, Liam Riordan, Matt L, J. Cole, CC Ryder, Matthew Yule, the liberal Irishman is back. John Amarella. Hello, John. Luis Sanchez, the swing maker. Terry Monroe's back. Oh, you guys are the best. Jet Life 45, David Goodstein, John Zaslow, AF. They're all in here, man. And I'm happy about it. These guys are the absolute best. So I told Harrison that you guys are really, really supportive and friendly and barely ever disagree for the sake of disagreeing. So we'll show them a good time, man. But so tonight, I put out a poll, Harrison. The way we do this, maybe a couple days before this, I put out a poll and I say, hey, here's a few options for our theme. This week we had like a straight up mock. You want to trade back with the Falcons? Do you want to do this or that? And the option that everybody chose was to trade Sam Darnold to the Broncos for pick number 40. So what that will do is help us to govern our mock around having that additional pick. And then we'll go from there. And how will that change what we're doing and all that sort of stuff? I've already gone and adjusted the PFN mock simulator to represent that extra pick for us. So I'm going to go and share our screen right now. What's up with you, man? I see you. You see Mac Jones bought a house near Boston. Is that true, Frank? I don't believe you. So you guys are referencing that little nugget I put out today. You guys know that I'm completely full of shit, right? You guys know that? No, I'm just kidding. So here we go. I'll share my screen. So that thing that I put out today, I have people that call me all the time, little words, and most of the shit that I hear, I never even tell you guys because I just think it's not real. But there are some things that come down my way, and I verify the source, at least the source. I can't say if it's real or not, but I definitely verify the source. And this past week, I put out two things that were pretty rock solid. So the thing they're what's the word I'm looking for? Not requisiting. They're mentioning, let's say, referring to, is that rumor is that Zach Wilson bought a house in New Jersey today. So I don't know, or yesterday. I don't know how real that is, but wouldn't that be an indicator of something? Wouldn't it?
Definitely would. You know, I'm all for that, man.
I know.
That's my guy. So
yeah,
it could be much better. I think that's the writing on the wall right now. I really do. I was talking about that in my podcast earlier. I think that's what's happening.
So you think taking Zach Wilson at 2 would be the best pick from your perspective?
Well, not only that, I'm excited because I realized the other day when I was thinking about it, the 49ers trade, it told us the Jets are going for a quarterback. It told me that the more I thought about it. Because, you know, depending on whichever way you look at it, let's say they tried to make an offer and, you know, tried to get the second pick, which why the hell wouldn't they? I mean, the whole selling point, remember, to the Texans back when we wanted Deshaun was, you know, you get your pick at quarterback. So if they're obviously going for a quarterback, which they're doing at 3, they want the best available pick. So either they talked to Joe and Joe said no. I know some people, you know, feel like 12 isn't the best value, but this is an extremely deep draft. And if I didn't want a quarterback, let's say, and I, you know, wanted to build around Sam, which I don't agree with, but let's say that's what I want to do. At 12, Devonta Smith could still be there, Surtain, a CB1, Horn, 2 first-round picks. You know, Joe's a trade-down guy. It's not the worst offer. What I would probably do is I'd be like, you know, counter and be like, okay, you know, instead of 2 firsts and a third, make it a second this year and a third, something like that. But we didn't even hear anything. So the other way you look at it is, let's say the offer wasn't put in. Why wouldn't they? I mean, you know, the Niners and the Jets were close now. Saleh, LaFleur. I mean, the two GMs were standing next to each other on the freaking pro day with Zach Wilson. So obviously, if they didn't put an offer in, they had to know. So the way I look at it is I'm super excited. I feel like no matter what now, that proved the Jets are going QB at 2.
That's funny because, like, I listened to your words, and every single word you just said makes sense. Yet I disagree. I see it. It's funny. I see it from the exact opposite perspective. But we'll get into that as we move forward.
At least it makes sense. That's key. At least I'm not just rambling.
That's right, man. That's a good start, man. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and start this thing now. What I do, Harrison, is I'll start the draft and let the simulator take us out. Now, what the first guy we're going to see off the board is more than likely, it's very exciting. More than likely, we're going to see the Jaguars pick someone that we already know who they're going to pick. So let me hit start here and see if they change their minds. Nope. Okay. So, guys, we have one offer. Now, we'll take a look at this offer, and then that's what we will start this mock with. You can see the offer, guys. The Atlanta Falcons are begging us to slide back to 4. They want to give us pick 35, their second-round pick 68, their third-round pick, and next year's first. I want to remind you that we can counter this. Is anybody interested in taking this trade? That's what we'll start. Now, give me the votes. I'm going to put the ticker up. You sneaky bastards, we want to make sure that we only vote once, okay? Let me see. Where's my little ticker? There it is.
Nice. I see people voting. Can I throw my 2 cents in?
Sure, of course.
Throw it in there. So I've said it before. Remember, you guys remember the whole logic with Trevor Lawrence was that he was too great a prospect to pass on. Sam may become good. He may get it together. He's not going to be elite. He's not going to be top of the league. You can't pass on Lawrence. He's too great. I'm telling you guys, I've done a lot of detail and depth into it. The same applies to Zach Wilson. I don't care what the offer is. It doesn't matter. Zach Wilson is it. And the quarterback is the ticket. You need a great quarterback to build around. I've said before in things like pocket awareness, innate pocket ability, he's better than Lawrence. Some have even theorized that as of late. So I would definitely think Lawrence at 1 is a lock without a doubt. But you can't pass on Zach Wilson. You can't, no matter what the offer that comes in. You got to take that guy and build a team around him.
Right. Well, the chat agrees with you. They're saying no. Now, let me just say my 2 cents. I think that if the guy's name wasn't if Zach Wilson wasn't in this draft, if he did not exist, and it was just Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, Jamie Newman, Kellen Mond, all the guys, we would be saying the exact same thing about Justin Fields. Or the other, it's what happens every single year. If somebody's out of reach, the next guy is so good you can't pass him up. And that's what I see happening with Zach Wilson. I do like him. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus. I would take this trade, but it doesn't matter because they've already trounced me and went along with you. So I'm going to go ahead and deny the trade. So the next question is going to be this. Who do you guys want to take? Now we have Penei Sewell. We have Kyle Pitts. Even the simulator says both of those guys are better prospects than Mr. Zach Wilson. But more than likely, we turn that down for a quarterback. So anybody else but Zach Wilson right now? That's all right, mid-flare. We just started, buddy. That's right. Scott Wilson said it best. The backup quarterback is always the most popular player on the team. And it applies to this. It's the same mentality, Scott Wilson. I like him. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I just don't know if I would pass. That trade was weak anyway. But for the simulator, it was actually a good trade. But don't buy the hype. That's funny. So you guys want Wilson? I'm seeing a whole bunch of Wilsons. I'm seeing one Field, one Lance. Can you see the comments, Harrison?
I do. Yeah. It's coming in nice. It seems like the majority have been for We got one for Joe Namath. I love that. Mr. Nick Hunter there. If we can go back in time and pull that off, I mean, I'm all for it. If you got a DeLorean somewhere you're hiding, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Well, you know that Joe Namath is the only
draft a kicker. That's funny, dude. I tell you, I feel like I have some nights I wake up in like cold sweats and I'm like, we took Mike Nugent at 59. And,
oh my God.
It freaks me out. Like
just the best. You know, like what that says is this is the guy to put us over the top. That's what that regime thought. Fucking Terry Bradway.
If you think a kicker's putting you over the top, it's time to retire. That's it.
Yeah.
Hang up the cleats.
Now, J. Cole, I'm going to tell you something, J. Cole. You're a good dude. I like you. And I see the joke. It's a funny joke, but there's no need to write it 15 times. You're doing what we call spamming. and I will punish you. I will punish you drastically. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead and take Zach Wilson because I do want to remind everybody that Joe Namath is the only quarterback in the Hall of Fame with more interceptions than touchdowns. That's our claim to fame.
That is true. I agree. And I've actually said it before. I think that Ken O'Brien, if you actually look at his numbers and look at what he's done and the production he put up in the time he did, the more sacks he took, I think if O'Brien had won a Super Bowl, he'd be considered our greatest quarterback.
Absolutely. I loved Kenny O. That was when I became a fan. Right before Kenny O, but that was when I came into my own. So, all right, here he comes. Zach Wilson is a New York Jet. Let's see what the board does. Justin Fields went to the Niners. Look at that. And the Falcons ended up taking Sewell, Trey Lance to the Panthers. They didn't have
that surprises me. I would have thought Trey Lance to the Niners. Just seems like more of a fit to me, but
I think the Niners traded up for Mac Jones, and that's how stupid that trade was all the way from the beginning. Anyway, all right, guys, we are at pick 23, and here's what we're looking at. We have 2 trade offers. Good job on Zach Wilson. We got our franchise quarterback. Now, everything we do from here should have a certain tilt to it, in my opinion. We've been here before. We took Sam Darnold with the 3rd overall pick, and our next pick was a defensive tackle. I just want to remind you that sucked, okay? So we have 2 offers. The Detroit Lions want us to go almost twice as far back as we stand now. They'll give us pick 112 in next year's 2nd. That's laughable to me. The Ravens want to give us pick 104 to slide back 3 picks. So before we entertain that, we must decide what's our need. Harrison, what do you think our need is right now? Where do you see? And I'll show you guys the big board so we can see what we're looking at here.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. I was zooming in myself. And I got to say, I like this big board. I like it a lot. And I like it because they took a guy that I've said for a long time is a first-round prospect, always had him either at the 23rd or 34th pick in every mock I've done for like a year now. Everyone's like, that's crazy. It's too high. Right now, I love it. He's sitting there at 28. Guys, the pick has to be Creed Humphrey. If you think about the situation we're in right now, Joe Douglas, like me, I love you have to build through the trenches. Football is built through the trenches. That's where football is won and lost on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. And what did he do in free agency? He went out and built the defensive trenches. He got guys like Rankins, Lawson, Curry, but he didn't address the offensive trenches, and that's what he has to do. And I know a lot of people like McGovern, but if we look at the majority of last season, he wasn't good. He wasn't, the greatest, unfortunately. He's decent as a run blocker, but he's not the greatest pass protector. I want the next, and I've said this before with Creed, I'm talking about him forever, I want the next Nick Mangold. It's so rare to find a center with the cerebral trait. You remember with Mark Sanchez pointing out the line adjustment, pointing out the defensive shift so that this guy's coming instead of that guy. Creed Humphrey has those cerebral traits that not all centers have. And you can put McGovern at guard, but Humphrey's going to be amazing. I love the kid. He studies film. He said it in interviews. I saw him on it. He's a big film guy. He gets like what, like what Mangold gets, that aspect that goes beyond just being a blocker. I look at the center as the second quarterback on that team. And if you ask Sanchez, always adjusting how Mangold did, if it weren't for him, that would have been it. So I want that guy to build around. I want the center, the one that's going to be the next staple. Like when we had DeBrickashaw and Mangold, this is now going to be Becton and Humphrey for the next decade plus to grow with Wilson. That's how I am. I'm 100% Creed Humphrey.
So you're saying offensive line, and your pick would be the center position, Mr. Creed Humphrey. Yeah. Now, I would agree that it's offensive line. The real question I have is when you look at this Ravens trade, if our pick was going to be Creed Humphrey, the Ravens want us to slide back 3 spots. Could we still get Creed Humphrey there? Let's take a look at this trade. They want to give us pick 104. That's a 4th-round pick. They want to give us a 4th-round pick to slide back 3 spots. If Creed Humphrey was our target, it might be worth it to trade back and grab 104. If it's Elijah Vera Tucker, if you want to go guard, and I saw a comment that said Vera Tucker can play guard and tackle. While I do agree, I will also tell you that he's projected to be a guard in the NFL. He would probably struggle at tackle. which is the same situation we saw with Cam Clark last year. Everybody wants to know where he is, but don't forget, after being injured with no training camp and no preseason, he also was switching positions from the outside tackle position to the inside guard position, and it doesn't always go so easily as we like to think it does. So Vera Tucker probably won't be there. If that's your guy, Creed Humphrey might. So what do you guys think? Let's whittle it back. I see everybody with line. I see a few cornerbacks, but it's pretty much line right now. I
see Daniel's got no more USC players. He's got shell shock.
Well, it's just the USC quarterbacks, right? Who else?
And then we've said the same thing about Ohio State quarterbacks in the past. You know, the Justin Fields people out there just throwing it out.
It's been right every single time.
But Vera Tucker is not a bad pick at all. I mean, that'd be an awesome pick. I wouldn't question that at all. The interior line needs to be fixed. Cornerback's a big position right now of need. I just look at it as center is the most important position on that offensive line next to the blindside tackle. And I've been saying Creed belongs up there for a while. This is the first mock I've seen where I feel like he actually is where he belongs. You might be able to trade back, but I don't risk it. Like there's other guys I like I love JC Horn. I love Owusu Koromoa, but I've come to the point where like, I feel like I can't pass on Creed. Like I just can't do it.
Right. So the thing is this. Now, one of the things we want to remember with this mock draft is we want to explore. We want to have fun. This is, not to say that I'm saying take the trade, but we want to remember that this is the place we do this every week with different themes. So what are we going to do here? Are we going to try to see if the guy we want can be there after recouping 104, or not recouping, but gaining 104? 104 is a 4th round pick. That's just outside of the premium picks, man. Lots of guys from the 3rd round are sliding back into the early 4th round, which is where that is, that you can get some real gems, man. Real gems. Don't forget, we got Bryce Hall in the 5th. That's going to be our starting corner for the next 6 to 8 years. You'll see. The guy's fantastic. So if that's where we need you guys to vote yay or nay on the trade and then the player that you want. Because you guys are doing a good job with the offensive line, but it's really looking like Vera Tucker.
It seems like it's between Vera Tucker and take the trade.
And that's the thing. That's when trades become really smart. So you have 2 guys that you're happy with taking. You're going to slide back 3 picks to get an extra player. What is the likelihood that both of your guys are going to go off the board? And that's how you should look at trades.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think, it comes down to like Joe Douglas's logic. Remember last year when he traded back from Mims? We were surprised he was there at that first pick. We're like, oh my God, he traded back. We're going to lose out on him. And then he's still there with that later pick and he got more, still got his guy. The way I would look at it is if I can just blow up the board a little bit, I would say the Steelers could potentially maybe take Creed Humphrey just because they might be looking for their next, future big center. Possibly. I don't think the Jags will.
They might. So look, I'm not saying there's not a risk. So I want to, so your vote is to go ahead, stick and take Creed Humphrey. We're looking at the board. My vote is to trade this particular instance. I think we can get one of our 2 guys and gain 104. I see a yes. Let me see. Take the pick. No. Nah. Take the trade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3.
Seems to be mainly trade, I would say, then AVT.
Yeah, I think the trade is
winning. Trade wins, I believe. Yeah, and then AVT. But again, Vera Tucker's a great pick. I mean, he's easily one of the best guards in the draft.
We're going to end up getting Creed anyway. You'll see.
I hope so, man.
So let me counter it. I'm going to throw on next year's 7th too and see if I can't get that from them. Okay. They declined it. So this is straight up. Take it or leave it, they said. So let's go ahead and accept it. Now let's see. Was it worth it? Did we lose both of our guys?
Let's see. Day of reckoning. I was surprised Vera Tucker was actually there. I could see Vera Tucker going 15, 16, 18 in that range.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Me too. All right, watch them both go off. We've seen it before, haven't we, chat?
That's the risk of trading.
Creed Humphrey. That's
I called it. I said Steelers. I did that. I was thinking it. I really was. I was legit looking at the board.
Very good.
And
good
thinking,
call,
thank you. Appreciate it.
See, Harrison Glazer knows what the fuck he's talking about.
I was thinking that, I was thinking the Steelers would take him.
So Vera Tucker's still there. We can stick there very easily and take our guy, and we'll be happy because we got one of the 2 guys. So To throw a stick in our spokes, though, we have 3 trade offers for pick 27. Now, before we look at the trades, I want to remind you where we are. We have pick 27, 34, and 40. So just so we keep that in our minds, let's take a look at these trades, chat. Good job, chat.
Yeah, I agree with the chat at the moment right now. I would say, you got lucky that Vera Tucker was still there. I honestly think Vera Tucker is going to go sooner than Creed Humphrey, but either way, Vera Tucker's still there. You can't pass on him. Like, you need to fix that interior offensive line, and that's easily he could be one of the best guards in the NFL within a couple of seasons. Like, people said that he projects still to tackle. He's interesting. When you look at him, height and measurable wise, he doesn't seem like a tackle. He's more of a guard, but the kid's got a ridiculously long wingspan.
Sure.
I would be interested to see how he would fare a tackle. He could be, one of those guys that you say, is like an anomaly, like he shouldn't be a tackle, but he is.
Yeah. And that might be the case. I know many NFL teams are scouting him as a guard.
Buster, take AVT. Don't mess around.
All right. So look, though, what we got to remember, I got the guards up on the board. Now, if we're looking at the guards, we're going to look at the guards in the center. So we wanted AVT or Creed Humphrey. Our guy did slide. We have 3 trade offers. Before we look at the trade offers, we looked at the picks. We have pick 27, 34, and 40. We have Elijah Vera Tucker, Wyatt Davis, and Trey Smith sitting there. Okay. The centers, we're going to have Josh Myers, right? Landon Dickerson, Josh Myers, Trey Hill. They're all still there. So you have a plethora of guys that are going to be able to come in and be turnkey. All right. So now let's go back to the trades and see what we're being offered. So you got to be careful, chat. You got to be careful of when you're saying you want to make a decision before you look at what the other side of the decision looks like. That's dangerous water, man. You got to be careful. You got to consider everything, which is why I like Joe Douglas. All right, so let's look at these trades. The Vikings want to give us picks 78, 90, 125 next year's second and third to slide down. What is that? 50 spots? 40? Yeah. So 51 spots. That's far.
In my opinion, before you were switching, 3 kind of picks, that's you're dropping out of the first at that point. I wouldn't.
Totally. So you have the Buffalo Bills would like to give us next year's third for a 3-pick slide. And then the Bucks want to come in and give us their third to slide down 5 picks. Any interest in any of the trades? No trades. Nah, I'm good. Kick rocks, Minnesota.
What do you guys think?
Guy's still mad at Anthony Barr. I can sense it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. Yeah, I think I'm with you guys at not trading down at this point.
Hey, look at the swing maker. I don't know what you're saying, but I agree with you with the fact that saying I'm right. I love that. I agree. Okay, so you guys, it looks like you guys are saying no trade. So we're back to Vera Tucker. I'm going to go and take our guy, and we'll see where it goes from there. Here he comes. We got a quarterback. We got a beefcake in front of him. There it goes. Let's see how the board drops. Joseph Asai, right off the board. What the hell just happened? Oh, look at this. Are you fucking kidding me? What just happened? Oh, we got to start over. Wait a minute. You believe that shit? Sorry, guys. You see that, Harrison?
Yeah, maybe it was only a first-round mock. It was a tease.
Yeah,
I must round 1.
Something wrong. Hey, sorry guys, I got to start it over. We'll do it real quick.
Yeah, but it depends. There's a couple of good guys I like at that 23rd pick. I mean, J.C. Horn could be on the board. Yeah. Jeremiah Owusu-Komoro would be an excellent addition for the 4-3 outside linebacker. Something we need. But I've convinced myself. Like you saw on the board, I've been saying Humphrey, you can't pass on him. I'm just so happy to see him going that high because it shows that's where he's going to go. That's going to happen. It is, yeah. And I figured it was going to be the Steelers. They had I'm pretty sure Pouncey's not there. They had him for a while.
That was a good pull. So sorry, guys. I don't know what happened there. I think maybe I didn't hit 7 or the click didn't, misclick or something. So my bad. Good thing we weren't way into it like that time, the other time I did that. All right, here we go. So we're going to go ahead and start this thing. We'll get Zach Wilson. We don't need to talk about it. There he goes. We'll turn this down. We'll take Zach Wilson. Look, we're almost back to where we were. All right, Mac Jones, everything's
going. The question now, though, would be, now that Creed's going to be gone when the Steelers pick, do you take him at 23? That's
Well,
$1 million
I'm
question.
going to try to see if the same trade pops up. I'd like to get that 104 back and see to get us to where we were. There goes Vera Tucker anyway. So it's going to be a little bit different, guys. Sorry about that, man. Are they yelling at me yet? I haven't looked at the chat since I did it.
No, you're good. You're good.
They're mad at me.
No,
I'm afraid.
Everyone's good. Mike's was good. Mike's like, just a warm up. We're getting into real thing. It was practice.
All right, so we'll just take Creed, and then we miss out on 104. That's my bad. All right, so I'll turn this down, and we'll just take Creed Humphrey, and that'll be that. We'll move forward in the same way. Okay, so we're going to get back up to there's where we were. Now we're going to get to our second round pick. Same difference, right? We did lose out on 104. So we have no trades for 34. So we got a quarterback. We got an offensive lineman, an interior offensive lineman at that. Maybe we move Connor McGovern over. Maybe we sit Creed for a little bit, let him roam, learn the ropes a little bit. So what's our next need, guys? Harrison, what do you think our next need should be here?
Well,
what are we considering free agency?
Yeah, I'm blown away, actually, and it's because he's such a high pick. They even have Micah Parsons labeled as the 16th. How the heck he's still available at 34 blows my mind. Micah Parsons would be an outstanding addition as a 4-3 outside linebacker. That kid is a good blitzer, gets to the quarterback, fast motor, but he's decent in coverage. He's everything you want. Earlier in the season, he was projected a little bit later on. Now he's projected to go, where he is at 16. I'm shocked he's still available. Normally, I would say Wyatt Davis because we need to fix the interior line, get another guard. But, sometimes you can't control how the boards fall out.
That's right.
I can't believe Parsons is there. Like, I would just take him at the fact. I can't believe he's there. Like, he might actually start over Gerard Davis. That kid is so good. In like two linebackers.
And that's an interesting thing. And you can see, just like Harrison said, and like we talk about every week on this mock, guys, we have our plan going in. We have what we think we like in the players, and then someone slides. Every week it happens. And we talk about that draft value. You want to pay attention to draft value. So the fact that Micah Parsons is sliding, we were going to start looking at linebackers in the third, maybe even the fourth at the latest, but we do it every time because we know we need one. Being able to get one here, that's better than we were going to be able to get in the third round. It might be something that we want to consider. I know we're probably thinking cornerback, maybe even edge or wide receiver here, like a shifty guy. But I think he would be a good pick, and you can see the board or the simulator even had him at 16, like Harrison pointed out, and for some reason he slid. So they want to see if we're going to catch it. So what do we think, guys? You got Micah Parsons, or what other position do you think would be our priority? Let's see. A lot of guys.
Just a couple of Parsons.
Yeah. So here's the big.
Someone says Rousseau. Is Rousseau still available?
I'm going to check right now. I saw.
Is he? Because it's hard to see. Yeah.
No, he's not there.
I would be shocked. Yeah. Out of curiosity, if I can go back up to the edges, Phillips isn't a bad pick. I love the kid's motor. I talked about him. He's easily a first-round talent, but if you go back to where he was, when he was back, I'm pretty sure it was UCLA, he retired for a little while. He had such injury concerns. He was out of the college altogether. So I love the kid as a prospect, but I'm hesitant on him. I think a huge steal in this draft, and I've been saying for a while, I actually have one edge rusher listed over Rousseau, in my opinion, and that's Patrick Jones. I think Patrick Jones is majorly slept on. This kid, especially in a 4-3 outside linebacker, 4-3 DN position, this kid is a bull, but he's also got a decent pass repertoire.
Yeah, we love Patrick Jones over here. This is Patrick Jones's neighborhood in many.
I love it because I'm a big Patrick. I have him. He's my number one edge rusher on my board, above Rousseau.
Interesting. Yeah, he's like my second, or he's my second or third in the whole draft. Patrick Jones for edge, especially for us, and with the way that we're going to design our defense, he fits in perfectly. So we got somebody. Edward Garcia is pointing out Micah Parsons' character issues. You know anything about that, Harrison Glazer?
I haven't heard too much. I mean, I remember I heard murmurs of things, but it never came out. So that just leads me to believe that maybe something was created out of nothing. But I'll be honest, I'm not 100% if there is something. But like I said, I hadn't heard too much. I'm curious, who's available at cornerback? We can see those DBs for a second. Oh, those are my two. Oh, man.
Eric Stokes are still sitting there.
I love it. I love Asante Samuel Jr. I think he's an excellent slot addition. Him and a guy like Javelin Guidry together on both sides of the slots could be amazing. I love Eric Stokes. I thought Eric Stokes wasn't going to be big enough to be an outside corner, but he measured, I believe, about 6 foot or so and about 190 something, which is a lot bigger than I thought. But the kid ran a 4.25 40. That kid is absolute dynamo and lightning.
Yeah.
I love Aaron Rodgers. I like Elijah Molden. I even like Tyus Campbell. I mean, honestly, those are all corners that I'm high on.
Totally. I agree. So our wide receivers look like this. We have Terrace Marshall Jr., Elijah Moore, Rondell Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, don't forget, every wide receiver that we have not named Crowder is a big-bodied, contested catch type of a receiver. So I would think when we do go receiver, we might want to consider a different skill set. The shiftier guy, the quicker guy, the slot, if you will. So that's something to consider, but there's a lot of guys. Amari Rodgers has still got some time for him. So what are we thinking, chat? I want to know, do you want to take Micah Parsons and grab the steal, or do you think there's a need that supersedes the slide?
Gotta say, I'm with Matthias. I mean, Samuel Jr. I'm hoping, like really hoping that Samuel Jr. is going to be available with the next pick. But
let's see.
It's not a bad pick there at all.
He might be there at 40. One of him and Stokes are going to be there at 40, I would think. Let me just double check that. Hold on.
Yeah. Honestly, those are all four great cornerbacks. Like Stokes can play the outside, Campbell can play the outside. They're both fantastic. Stokes, again, lightning fast speed. Aaron Robinson can play the outside. I had him back like months ago as a 5th round prospect. He has shot up the boards. That kid has just shot right up. See, he's got a lot of outside potential. And Asante Samuel Jr., people say, we don't need another slot guy, but people forget if you take a football field and you flip it around, there's 2 slots. So I never get why, people want, 3 big guys in 1 slot. I'd rather have a couple of big guys and 2 good interior guys that can blanket the inside of the field together on both sides.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many ways to skin a cat, man. And like people get locked into these dynamics. And you look at somebody like a Bill Belichick who never gives a shit. He, if he sees an opportunity to grab 5 good guys at one position, he'll do it and figure it out from there. That's the kind of thing that Adam Gase never could do. Todd Bowles couldn't do it either. They needed a specific skill set in order for their systems to work. And what we're hoping is that the guys we have now look at the players we have and go, ooh, I know what I could do with these fucking guys. That's what we want to see. So I know, right? Chris Bradigan said it well. Look what he says there, Harry. A lot of options. Fuck, this is fun/hard. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the fun of it. Yeah.
It is. Now imagine being Joe Douglas when this is serious. You know why he's bald. So I know, and don't forget tight ends. Pat Freiermuth is still there. My second favorite tight end in the class.
He's be a good choice. I mean, it's always good to have a good interior guy.
So
I honestly think Herndon, though, was a little slept on last year. Adam Gase he just didn't utilize him. Like when he caught the ball, he played well, but he was just a non-factor in that offense. I think you bring in a guy like Croft, who's a decent receiver, but a really good blocker. I think the two of them could be really good together. I really do.
Well, everybody says that every year about Chris Herndon. I'm just going to tell you, I'm rooting for him. But he's had 39 catches his rookie year, and he has done 2 kicks above nothing since. So, and look, he's been suspended. He's been injured. He dropped more balls than any other receiver on our team last year. I don't know. I don't know when it's going to happen for this guy. I'd love him to come out of nowhere and be great. I think the best thing for Chris Herndon would be to bring someone on that's a legitimate threat for his starting job, because he's been assumed starter for his whole career, and that's bullshit. It needs to stop. And then maybe he'll realize the severity. So are we taking it looks like we're taking Micah Parsons. That's what it looks like to me.
It seems to be the consensus. And what's interesting is, again, after free agency, our biggest needs were interior offensive line and cornerback. So a guy like Eric Stokes is a good pick, but it's just, again, the way the board shakes out, it's like Micah Parsons. Like this guy at one point was considered one of the best, edge rushing coverage linebackers in the entire draft. A guy that's just the everything. That's what he's considered. So
look what it says. Real quick, guys. Insanely athletic linebacker who plays explosive football, fast moving in every direction, very sudden and creates turnovers, covers a lot of area. Sounds like my kind of guy. Let's read his negatives. Instincts, run hot and cold, inefficient getting to the action, does not drive through tackles, possesses average ball skills and coverage. Okay. So it sounds like this is the pick as far as the chat. We'll move on.
Interesting take. And just to cover the negative quick, what they're kind of saying there is he's good in coverage. He's just not going to be, that Mosley interception guy. He's not the best with the ball tracking skills, but he's a dynamo in coverage. Like he's excellent, sticky in man end zone.
Yeah, that's one of those things that you have to find a negative. You know what I mean? So they find a negative. It's like you saw the positive was 3 paragraphs and a negative was 2 sentences. The guy's an outstanding football player. And I think Robert Saleh would love to have him. Here he comes, boys. Micah Parsons joining the Jets. Let's see how it goes. Now let's see if there goes Freiermuth. Let's see if Eric Stokes, and they're both there. So we have pick 40. We have 2 trade offers, my good friends in the chat. We have the Buffalo Bills wanting us to slide back to 61. They will give us their 2nd round pick next year. The Lions want us to slide back significantly further to pick 101. They'll give us their 2nd and 3rd. Let's look at Buffalo. They want us to go back 21 picks. Now, our next pick after this, what was it, 66? Yeah, 66 and 86. So if we flew back, we would lose out on the 40s and 50s, and we would have 2 in the 60s, but we would get a 2nd round pick next year. What say you, chat? What say? And don't forget, we can counter it and get a 6th or 7th or something like that as well.
Yeah. If I may throw it in, I would just say, a 40 is really high. You could argue a 40 is even, you're getting a guy with late 1st round potential. So
absolutely,
dropping to the 60s is a little too much for me. I would take somebody here. A good pick would be, if you want to go interior line, Landon Dickerson is there. He's projected at 55 in this mock, but that's a perfect place to take him, honestly. I would take him at 34. If you wanted to go corner,
I wouldn't take 2 centers.
Well, Dickerson could easily be a guard. The way I've always looked at it is all centers can be excellent guards, but not all guards can be good centers. Landon Dickerson would be an excellent guard. Him and Humphrey together would be dynamo.
So the thing with Landon Dickerson, though, is he just had a surgery, and they haven't gotten word on how that went. Now, granted, he's a young guy, and most of these surgeries are good, but the truth is that nobody knows his medical situation right now. So that is something. Now let's take a look. We're saying no to the trades, it looks like, right?
Yeah, it looks like the majority are saying no and cornerback.
Okay. Let's take a look at now. Don't forget, we do need to look at tight end. We need to look at cornerback. We need to look at a wide receiver as well. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the guards. The guards, we have Trey Smith, by many accounts, is really the best guard in the draft. I happen to like him a great deal. I also like Ben Cleveland, but I like Deontay Brown a little bit more than Ben Cleveland. The centers, we have Landon Dickerson, like Harrison was just bringing up. We also have Josh Myers, Trey Hill. Quinn Meinerz, I still haven't dug into it, so I can't really speak on him, but I did dig into Drake Jackson as well, and I like him a whole bunch. He's a little bit light, but his frame states, it insinuates that he can put on another 15 pounds without too much of an issue. So I don't think that's going to be, I think he's 285 or something like that.
Around there. Yeah. He is on the smaller side. He's a tough kid, but yeah, he is on the smaller side.
All right. Now let's just look at the cornerbacks. Let's not forget them. Asante Samuel and Eric Stokes are still there. If I had my druthers, I would go with an interior offensive line with a cornerback as my backup right now, because we have prime talent it's all really talented right now, but we have that offensive line. We could literally fix it forever with this pick, really, like for the next 5-6 years. Like with Becton, you get a guard right here. We have Creed Humphrey, Connor McGovern, and Fant. Like, we are good. We're working on pipeline after this. If we chose to take an offensive lineman here, again, we do need a cornerback. We need one. That's not in question. So without signing Poole, we also might need a nickel, so there's that too. Get Carrie Vincent later, one of those guys. So what say you, Scott? And Asante Samuel.
A bunch are saying Samuel, which I could totally agree with. I mean, Samuel measures in at about 5'10-ish, 5'11", 180. He played outside in college. He's very physical, but I think he's a little outsized and outmatched for that. But again, I could see him becoming one of the best slot cornerbacks in the league in a very short amount of time. In his whole time at Florida State, he never allowed a single receiver to ever get 100 yards. Not one who ever lined up against him. He's unbelievably impressive. But Eric Stokes, if you're looking for an outside guy, he has that physicality and size to play on the outside. And the speed is insanity. Like 4.25. That's 4.25 is insanity. Like he could, no joke, like possibly outrun Tyreek Hill. Like that's insanity, 4.25. So I love Stokes a lot. Tyson Campbell would be an excellent pick too.
Yeah.
He's more of an outside guy. Elijah Molden is an interesting double. He could play in the slot as well as outside. So I would probably go between Samuel and Stokes. It's a tough one.
It is. And I think the board is really, I see some Trey Smiths. I see some other interior offensive line, but it's looking like corner right now. And Jet Life keeps saying he's calm. I don't know what's going on, buddy. You okay? If people telling you to calm down, I hate that shit. You know what I mean? When you're trying to talk and somebody goes, calm down, man. I am fucking calm. You know what I mean? So I think that's what's going on. Jet Life, I feel you, buddy. I feel whatever's going on. I didn't catch it, but I'm spiritually with you, my good friend. So it's looking like Asante Samuel. Let me see. Stokes. Oh, the Stokes are coming. Let me tell you, and I've said this before, guys. I know everybody wants to anoint Javelin Guidry. He played out of necessity last year. He didn't exactly look wonderful, and I did a boatload of research and intel on him before the draft, and I came away with one word for Javelin Guidry. He's fast, he's dynamic, he's athletic, but the word I found in my brain for him was pussy. And that's the word that I got, and I'm keeping that word on him until he proves otherwise. I don't love Javelin Guidry. I think he'd be fine as the last cornerback off the bench kind of a thing, practice squad for a while, because he makes me nervous. So I think slot corner is the way to go. I'm all high on Bryce Hall. I think he's one of the best damn picks we've had in a long time, especially for value. I mean, Jesus. 5th round. That's incredible. I was mad when Joe Douglas passed on him in the 4th. I was furious. And then
I'm with you. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was big on Hall. I really liked him a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, that's where I am right now, guys. I'm in Charlottesville. I'm in Bryce Hall's hood, man. This is all UVA right now. That's where I am. I can sense him. His spirit is here in this house.
Yeah. And Mike, you're actually right. Tyson Campbell, he's considered a first-round pick. Tyson Campbell should definitely go in the first round. Right now at this pick, it would probably be Campbell gone and the choice between Samuel and Stokes. But again, you guys talk about fixing that offensive line. I personally feel that Landon Dickerson would be a better guard than any of the options. I mean, Trey Smith is supposed to be amazing, but just me personally, he had those, the blood clots in his lungs.
Right. That's the concern with him.
The second I heard that, I was like, okay, maybe he's good now, but that's something that could come out at any time. That's something that could just slide. That's why, I think he's a tremendous athlete, but I wouldn't pick him. That's just how I personally feel.
Yeah, well, that's a major concern, and that's why he's sliding. When I first started doing this 4 months ago, he was the first guard up. He was the one. It wasn't Wyatt Davis. It wasn't Vera Tucker. It was Trey Smith. He was the number one guy off the boards, and then slowly but surely he started sliding back. So it looks like the chat wants a cornerback here. Makes sense. So is the cornerback Asante Samuel? That's or Stokes? Give me your votes again. Start right now. Stokes or Samuel, and let's move on to pick 66.
Yeah. It seems to be pretty tied between Samuel and Stokes. That seems to be the majority consensus. I mean, the way you guys should look at it is different. They're both sticky in coverage. Stokes is more of, excellent in man end zone. Asante Samuel is more of a zone coverage guy, but I could see him excelling in man as well. Stokes is just the unique combination of big size and unbelievable speed. Samuel is going to be that prototypical slot guy. So you got to come at it, which one is more of a value to you. I mean, I don't want to disagree with you too much, my man, because I love your opinion, but I love Javelin Guidry. I think that kid's got a lot of potential. I'm big on him.
Yeah, I'm not. That's okay.
It's not. That's the beauty. We got to be able to disagree, right? Like, you
right.
no one's going to feel the same way about everything.
Fucking kick this guy off my fucking.
What's going on here? This guy, he's crazy.
Yeah, no, Jimmy and I disagree all the time. It's like, that's one of the things. I mean, the guys I like best in this thing are guys that I don't agree with all the time, because there's a lot of pools that form, and it's like, I'm on these chats and they all start to lean one way. And then if you say anything, they attack you. And I'm like, what happened to this fucking chat? Like, when do we become that? I want to discuss. Like, that's my interest in this thing, is talking about it with you guys. I want to learn. I want to listen. When you guys say things, how many times, chat, have you guys pointed something out for me? I've gone and looked for it and come back and said, dude, you were right, or whatever. So I love that stuff. You're wrong about Guidry, but I love that you want to say it.
Yeah, I mean, the way I would look at it with Guidry is, and maybe I can convince you a little bit, Brian Poole was one of the best slot corners in the league the last 2 seasons. He graded easily our best coverage corner. When Guidry came in, I didn't notice that big a drop in play. And I think that's the answer in itself. If you're coming in for a guy that was that good, and if you look at coverage grade wise, I don't have it in front of me. I know that Poole graded about 77 something. Guidry graded 73 something. And that's 73 something in coverage for an undrafted rookie that, was in his first year. And I think, the fact that Poole is still a free agent and hasn't been re-signed and, is available, that tells me that Douglas sees that in Guidry, that prototypical, like you said, speed and agility. Kid runs a 4.29 40. He's a dynamo, but he surprised me in coverage last year. I thought he was pretty tough for the size he is.
I watched 4 full games of him, and when the other team, the guy they chose to pick on was Javelin Guidry every single time. He's one. What he reminds me of is Otis Smith. You remember Otis Smith? Otis Smith had all these high grades and everything, and he would catch like 6 interceptions, 3 for touchdowns every year. But he was the guy getting burned every fucking week. And that's what Javelin Guidry is to me. And it's just Javelin Guidry, he's afraid to tackle. He ducks tackles. When the running back's coming at him, he will get run right. Like, he avoids the tackle. And I don't like those guys running around on the field with me. He's fast. I'm with it. But like I said, if Greg Williams could have gotten into his head and instilled some anger, I'm good. But I don't have high hopes for Javelin Guidry. I think he'll just be another one of those guys we liked for 10 minutes. More than likely be gone. But you can't teach speed, so he's got a fighting chance. That much I'll give him.
And that's the same thing with Stokes. I mean, I thought Guidry was fast at the 4.29. I mean, when Stokes ran a 4.25, that's crazy. That's barely slower than
hand clocks, man. Stokes got clocked, and just so you know, Guidry did too. These are hand clocks. When they're doing hand clocks, I want to see them running against the computer. That's what I want to see. That's the only thing. Hand clocks, if you're a hair off, 4.25, 4.29, 4.31, it's the same click. So the computer, I don't get too caught up in that kind of stuff. But fast is fast. But so we're going to go ahead and take Eric Stokes. That's what it looks
seems
like.
Yeah, to me it seems like it seems
a
little bit more of Stokes than Asante Samuel. Yeah, but a lot of people mention Aaron Robinson, and that's not a bad pick. Sam Atkin mentioned him. He's a prototypical guy, 6'1", 195-ish or so, and he shot up boards. He's an excellent cornerback too.
Yeah. I only watched some highlights on Aaron Robinson. I didn't dig into him too much. All right, Eric Stokes coming aboard. So start thinking about your next need. We have 26 picks. There goes Josh Myers. The center I like a little bit better. There goes Trey Smith, Asante Samuel off the board. There goes our guy, Aaron Robinson.
Yeah, he'll be an outside corner for the Dolphins, yeah.
Ooh, Amari Rodgers going to the Colts. Jabril Cox, that's okay. That's okay. Brevin,
that Seattle pick is a little underappreciated. Terrence Marshall Jr. going to Seattle. Man, him and Russell Wilson could be a dynamic duo.
Let's see if they keep his ass. Those stupid.
We'll see. Yeah. I hear people talk about Russell Wilson. I don't get that. I mean, Tom Brady, those guys playing in their 40s, and Russell Wilson's old. Like, what's happening here?
Crazy, dude. Without him last year, that was a 4-12 team.
He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, hands down. He's one of the greatest.
No doubt.
There's no question about that.
All right, guys, we have 2 trade offers. Excuse me. The Green Bay Packers are calling, And they want us to go back to 92. They'll give us 135 in next year's fourth for pick 66 and 186. Yeah. The Bengals want us to go back 3 picks to upgrade next year's sixth to a fourth. So we get a 2-round jump for a 3-pick slide. What do you guys think? Is there a player we're looking at? Let me check the big board for us.
Well, I would say before what offensive linemen are available? Because we were talking about, beefing that up. Landon's still there.
Landon Dickerson.
Landon's still there, and that's a good pick at that point. Yeah. Especially at 66. That's unbelievable value. Can't believe he's still on the board. People talk about injury history, but I have talked about this on my podcast. It depends on the injury. Like Landon Dickerson's injury was a bad injury. He was twisted up. That happens. This is, a professional contact sport. People hit each other. They hurt each other. For me, the concerns are when a guy makes a cut and pops a knee, like a non-contact injury. You see some injuries like the Wyatt David injury. It makes sense. I mean, based on what you saw happen. So as long as he can bounce back and get healthy, that's the key.
Yeah, no, I agree. The only thing that worries me with big bodies is when it's in their legs. Like knees and ankles, those things tend to pop up a lot, a little bit more than some of the other positions with all the weight for the big guys. I'm always happy when they get injured and it's like a shoulder or something like that. It's like they seem to come back easier from upper body stuff. The knees scare me. I think he's going to be fine. But like I said, I read a whole thing a day or two ago about some teams that really took him off their board in the first 3 rounds, which is a shame because the concern with the injuries, they can't vouch for, their confidence in his ability to come back from it, at least worthy of that high of a pick. And it's a shame, but it is what it is. Like you said, it happens every year. Like, Bryce Hall last year is a great example. He was a late first, second round pick every day of the week, and he made it to the 5th. Why? Ankle injury. That's it, So, all right, guys. So did we want to take any of those trades? Let me look at what they're doing.
Well, some people ask about Patrick Jones. He's not on the board still, is he? I saw his come up like 3 people or so mentioned his name.
Oh, he's there.
Oh, he's still there. I can't believe he's rated 78, man. So many people are sleeping on Patrick Jones. Him and Rashad Weaver are an unbelievable duo, the two of them. They really are.
Yeah, I could not agree more. The cool thing about this particular, we've talked about this numerous times. I think PFN gets a lot of things mixed up. I think Draft Network has the most accurate board, but their draft isn't very fun. So this is just more fun for us. But I think the good thing about this and what I like is that they adjust it constantly. So they're trying to pick up on the swings and the waves of what's actually going on. And they do an okay job with it. So. Hey, man, but look, Harrison, and you can probably vouch for this. What I try to tell these guys all the time, it's not like, hey, I want this group of guys and that's what I'm going to draft. It's learning how to pay attention to the way the board falls. Every GM goes into the draft and things happen in a different way. Things surprise and people pick or don't pick guys you totally thought wasn't going to happen. And your ability to swing with that and make an adjustment to get value out of your board is really the coolest thing about mocks, in my opinion. It's just, that's what we're trying to do here. It's like, yeah, I like this guy, but he's rated at 78, just as an example. And we're at pick 66. So do we want to take a guy that's rated 55, Landon Dickerson, or maybe Nick Bolton, whatever, so that because they're not supposed to be there and there's still a position of need. Is that?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. No, I'm 100% with you. And the way I look at it is, it's funny. It's ironic. The same people that say, oh, you don't want to reach for this player are the same people that are saying, oh, we missed out on him. We didn't take him when we could have. It's the same people. And if you look at it, so many examples in this last Allen Robinson was the 66th pick. He was passed over 65 times. Kenny Golladay, the most recent wide receiver one, went 96th.
Michael Thomas.
Yeah, the list goes on and on. No draft would play out the same way it played out if you could redraft. That'd be crazy. Right. So many guys are bust. So, yeah, I don't go by number. You can't go by number. You have to go by value. And, man, I feel like Patrick Jones, when I first started watching him, I noticed that he's a beast for his size. Like, he just puts people back. So I was like, oh, he's a power rusher like Weaver. But then he started to spin, and he started to do some swim moves. And I was like, man, this guy can do it all. So he's a bull rusher with a repertoire. You know what he reminds me of? I think he would complement Carl Lawson really well. I think the two of them on both ends, man, they could eat. They could eat for days.
Throw Quinnen Williams and what the hell's his name? Rankins in the middle. Come on, guys. What are we talking about here? Vinny Curry coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Now we're talking. So let's look at the big board. We do need an interior offensive lineman. We should be leaving here with at least 2 in the first half of the draft. So we have Landon Dickerson up top. We also have, just so we're clear, Ben Cleveland, Deontay Brown, the big boy out of Alabama, still sitting there. So we have our choices. Trey Hill, I like him a lot, like I shared. So there's some good interior offensive linemen. The wide receivers are starting to trim down some. Nico Collins, Tutu Atwell, they're there. But they'll be there for a minute. And don't forget running backs. Kenneth Gainwell is still there. Trey Sermon, Chubba Hubbard, Kylan Hill. And our tight ends, we still have Hunter Long and one of my favorites, Kenny Yeboah, Tommy Tremble. There's a bunch of good ones there. So we need to know what the board thinks. What position should we get right now? Oh, the New York Bully with a super chat. Thank you, sir. Let me address that real fast. What's happening, GreenBean? Don't forget about Joe Tryon. He's a beast, bro. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I was just in a conversation just yesterday, New York Bully. I said, I think, and it was a whole conversation, but the end of it was, I actually think because of the way that we addressed the edge in free agency, I think we're going to push that a little bit. And the guy I actually think fits the type of person that Joe Douglas wants to bring in is Joe. I think that's where we're going to get our guy. And Joe Tryon is probably going to be the guy that ends up being a Jet. And I would not be upset in the slightest bit. Now, that all said, if it was right here and these guys were on the board, I'm taking Patrick Jones. But you're right. Let's not sleep on Joe Tryon. Any thoughts, Harrison?
It's interesting. You know, I've watched him play. I like the play he has. I feel like, and I could bring his stats up right now. I want to make sure I'm thinking of the right player. For me, I'm going to bring it up. I felt like I only saw 1 season of production. I just want to make sure it's the same guy. So I'm bringing up his numbers at the moment and looking if it ever decides to load. Yeah, I mean, he had a good season in 2019. He didn't do much the season before that. He sat out 2020, which I get, you know, right, COVID, a lot of people sat out, and I don't question anybody for that at all whatsoever. But the way I look at it is a guy like Patrick Jones, a guy like Weaver, guys that played during this and not just played, but continued to play at a high level, continued to put up high sack numbers. Just to me, looking at it from a GM perspective, that shows me the ability to overcome adversity, the ability to step up in bad odds, to be able to, you know, keep producing at a high level, even when things, you know, around you may be going bad, which is what's happening. So that's why guys like Patrick Jones, who, you know, literally led college football in sacks in the beginning back in 2019, him, Weaver, I also, a sleeper of mine, Chris Rumph II, the kid from Duke. People say he's too small, but you know what? I don't look at measurables. Watch this kid. He puts linemen back. Like, it blows my mind. He puts guys back that are 100 pounds on him. But because of his size, he's unbelievably quick and agile. Probably the fastest, most agile edge rusher in this draft. So he's a sleeper pick that you can maybe get later on.
He reminds me of Mabin. Do you remember Mabin?
I do, yes.
Yeah, and that's the concern. He's the kind of guy that if he was sitting there in the 6th, I would love Chris Rumph, but I wouldn't take him. I would take him as a developmental project because I do think he needs to put on some weight. But he's talented, man. You can't take that away from him. I agree. I think he's going to have some trouble at the next level, though. But I agree. He's a good one. So, New York Bully, thank you for the super chat. We're going to go ahead and make a pick here. If I could just see what the hell you guys want. So Patrick Jones he's got some people in here.
It seems like there's a couple of Patrick Jones, couple of trade.
Landon Dickerson, Eichenberg.
Matthew says Firemouth is there. That's your guy. I know that's your favorite tight end.
No, he's not there. You're crazy.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I thought he was gone too.
Harrison, he's messing with me, man. He's playing with my heartstrings. He knows. But let me tell you something. Hunter Long's another one, man, as is Kenny Yeboah is one of my top 3 tight ends in the whole class. Like, I think for me, it's Kyle Pitts, Pat Freiermuth, Kenny Yeboah, Brevin Jordan. So that's the order for me. Trey McKitty, those guys. So I would love Kenny Yeboah right here. We don't need to grab him right here because the board tells us that he's going to be here for a minute. But, I love him. Herndon, a unicorn, more like a donkey with a party hat. Well done, Tony. I'll put that up there. That's good. So Joe Pekulik, thank you, sir. Evening, fellas. Take the Bengals trade and still get Jones. That's the thing. We forgot about the trades. Let me revisit them. The Bengals trade is interesting because we're only going back 3 spots. We get a 2-round jump next year for it. If there's not a player – now, look, if we were going to take Landon Dickerson, we're at pick 66, and he's graded at 55. He's probably going here. I wouldn't even be surprised if that's who they're trading up for. Let me see. Yep, he's the number 1 rated person on the board. So he's going. He's going.
Who's the team that's trying to make the trade?
The Green Bay. Oh, no. Green Bay. And this was the Bengals, I believe. Let me see. Make sure. Green Bay and then the
Bengals could use a center. Yeah. I mean, anyone could always use a center. That's how I look at it. It's such an important position on the field. Unless you have like Rodney Hudson back there. You could pretty much always use a center.
Yeah, can't have it. And look, man, I'm a big believer in the pipeline. It's like you want to have these guys stewing on your bench. That's what you want. And so when they're ready to leave, they can go. When they're ready to get paid, they can go. When they go down, you have a guy coming in that can start. It's not a 3-level drop off when somebody goes down for a little while. So I love the offensive line pipeline. So again, I agree.
Man, I'm loving this draft. Zach Wilson, Creed Humphrey, Eric Stokes.
We're crushing it.
This is a great draft.
Yeah,
I'm loving
crushing it. So what do you say, guys? You want to take the trade? I'll counter. I can try to move it over to this year.
If you could trade back and get Patrick Jones, that's a heck of a move. You get another pick, keep building the team.
Sure. I'm seeing counter. Take Cincy trade. Can't go wrong with a Notre Dame tight end. I agree, Gitmo. I do. I'm not mad at Yeboah. Yeah. Dickerson for Dicker, the kicker. Yeah.
I see Joe's taking a shot at me. He says, I'm the reason we draft guys like Darren Lee. I mean, is that a reference to Humphrey? Because, I think Humphrey's a great pick there. I really do.
I think it's the Chris Rumpf.
Oh, the Rumpf one, man.
Yeah.
When I said Rumpf, I wasn't thinking here, if I want to clarify that. I was saying Rumpf's a good pick in like the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah.
Give or take. I wouldn't say here yet. I'd say maybe a little further back, like maybe in the 90s. What are we up to now?
Right. So we'll try to counter this and get it to this year. Let's do this. Let's try pick 190 and see how it goes. They accepted it. Now let's see who they want. If they take Kenny Yeboah, Patrick Jones, I'm going to be upset, but they're not going to. Here we go. Liam Eichenberg, and there's Landon Dickerson. So I told you that he was the highest rated player on the board. He was going. So if Patrick Jones was our target, we're still safe. We have 2 offers on the table at pick 69. Cleveland would like us to slide 2 or 20 picks back and gain a 3rd next year. The Saints would like us to add our 5th, and they'll give us pick 98 and a 3rd and 4th next year. Any interest, my chat? Let's see. Slide back 20 picks and get a 3rd. Slide back 30 or 29 picks and get a 3rd and 4th, but we got to add a 5th. What do you think, guys?
Yeah, well, if you want to take Patrick Jones, that's too far in my opinion. Both of those picks, I don't think he's going to be there. So if you want to take him, this is excellent value. I've seen Patrick Jones. I think he's good enough that he could go in, the 40s and 50s. So at 69 here, that's excellent value. I would definitely take him. I saw up at the top of the draft for a second, I saw Nick Bolton. We already took Micah Parsons, but that was like a freak scenario. So let's say Parsons wasn't there. Nick Bolton is an interesting situation as a 4-3 outside linebacker.
Couldn't agree more. And to see, so the Jabril Cox is gone. I like Dylan Moses. I do still like Chaz Surratt. I know he's getting that, all of a sudden everybody's calling him a quarterback again, which I don't think is fair.
I go
like
Bolton over him.
Rice. I like Charles. You guys know I like Charles Snowden. They just had their pro day last week too. I watched it. I love UVA. So, okay. So what do we think? You want to take Patrick Jones? All right. I'll show you guys two things. Number one, here's our remaining picks. We have 69, 86, 107, 146, 154, 186, and 190. Okay. So our next pick is 86 after this pick. So that's a little ways. You know?
It looks like the majority, I'd say, is Jones and a lot of no's for the no trades. Seems to be the consensus.
Yeah, these trades are tough.
Because they're such a big drop. Yeah, it's not like you're going down a couple of picks.
They're tough. So you guys want Patrick Jones? Is that who we want?
And that would be an interesting situation because, signing a guy like Vinny Curry, he's, a pretty good, excellent edge rusher still. People, say, oh, he's turning 33 next year. He had 10 quarterback hits. That would have ranked, fourth on our team last year. So not only is he still a decent edge rusher, has a good motor, okay, and run blocking, but also he would be an excellent, mentor for Bryce Huff and for Patrick Jones.
Absolutely. And it's a perfect situation. He's on a 1-year contract. He's the exact type of guy you want coming off the bench and functioning, just like you said, as a mentor to an overly young crew. So it's just, it couldn't be set up better to have a couple nice young edge rushers. You have Carl Lawson over there, but you have Vinny Curry, who's been doing it for 10 years or so and is still productive. So he's not just an old man that's, taking up a roster spot. He's going to come in, play, 25% of the snaps and still be effective, giving a breather to the other guys. So I think it's perfect. It's really, I'm telling you, I really like that signing a whole bunch.
No, I did too. I think it's a great signing, especially because, he's still got a lot in the tank. Lawson, if you guys want to check it out, I talked all about Lawson on my podcast, my Twitter feed. He's just a beast in sheep's clothing. Like you don't see it because the sack production hasn't been there, but 32 quarterback hits last year, 22 the year before that, led the NFL in 27 QB knockdowns. Carl Lawson literally reminds me of as I'm thinking I was getting like Shaq Barrett when he transferred to the Buccaneers because he was really good with the Broncos. The production wasn't there. Gets to the Buccaneers, it starts to translate. So I think that's what's going to happen here. We're going to start to see the translation.
Robert Saleh. We're gonna really see the Robert Saleh effect on these guys, and that's what I'm most excited about. All right, so is Patrick Jones the guy, Harrison? What do you think? Is that what they're saying?
Some people ask about wide receivers. It looks like that.
I'll take a look. Here they are. So we got Dwayne Eskridge up top, Nico Collins, De'Ami Brown, Tutu Atwell. All right, Seth Williams, who I love, but I think he's redundant. Jalen Darden, Anthony Schwartz, another one I like a whole bunch.
I don't see Marquez Stevenson. Is he further down?
Who is it?
Marquez Stevenson. Might have been gone already.
I think he
could have been gone already. He's interesting. He's kind of all over the board.
Yeah,
but he's got a lot of potential.
I like
Jonathan the one you just passed though, Jonathan Adams Jr. That kid is. Watch that kid. When I look at outside wide receivers, physically imposing receivers, I watch this kid. He's a big bodied receiver that uses his body. He stops, uses his physicality to make really good contested catches. I see him getting it all over the field. He's definitely a sleeper, Jonathan Adams Jr.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what are we thinking, guys? Wait for Tutu Atwell. I'm telling you, he's small, but I wouldn't be unhappy with a 6th round Tutu Atwell, man. 5th round, I'm telling you.
Some say Jones, wide receiver. It's fine. It seems to be pretty split. Everyone's
Jones
seems to be pretty unanimous.
Cornerback. Well, don't forget.
I'd say the most is probably Jones, Alex. I would say.
We got Eric Stokes, Jones, Patrick Jones, then Adebo, then Tutu. Richie McDonald's got the whole thing planned out. He's going home. He's like, here's what you do. I'm out. Yeah, I think I agree with Jetsfan 4. I think Des Fitzpatrick he's gonna be a late round pick, and he's gonna be one of those guys. Everybody knows he's good, but for some reason he's gonna slide all the way down, and he's gonna be one of those guys within a year or two. He's gonna be one of the better receivers in the league. That's how I see him. But he's going to go late, and it's funny how that happens. Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
Yeah,
All
with the
right.
wide receivers, Dwayne Eskridge is a guy I really like. I feel like he's a smaller bodied receiver, but he's very, very physical. He's got very strong arms and
Yeah.
makes the contested catches. When I look at him, he reminds me of like a T.Y. Hilton, a guy that you wouldn't think can line up on the outside, but can. So I like him a lot. Collins is good, but just like with Seth Williams, he's not the fastest. That's what I really like about Jonathan Adams Jr. I feel like he's got that speed, but he's really physical and big.
Here's your boy Marquez Stevens.
Oh, there's Marquez. He's an interesting character because he's put up big yardage. He's produced really good, but people question his route trees, but he's fast, he's big. He looks the part of a prototypical wide receiver one. He just hasn't consistently done it.
Right. So, all right, guys, we got to make a choice here. We can talk about every single player left. I know we can. I have faith in us. We could do it. We could talk about everybody for the rest of the night. But I think it's time. Yeah, Dabo's son. That's so funny, Liam Riordan. That's a little joke. But I get it. I get it, buddy.
Yeah, I see what Friggle says, with Jonathan Adams Jr. I had the same issue, He goes to a smaller school. He doesn't have the greatest route tree. But when I look at, just intangibles, there are physical big-bodied receivers. We've had plenty of them in the past that don't use their bodies. Jonathan Adams Jr. just blows my mind. Like the way he's just able to just run into space and just stop between two different guys and make the catch. So he needs to work on things, but his catchability and physicality is in spades.
Right. All right, guys. So are we going Patrick Jones, or do we want to go interior offensive line, or maybe wide receiver? What are you guys thinking? This is the big board.
Yeah. Shout out to your guy, NY Bully again. He made another one of those the comments. He made a good point, with Lawson and Freeney. They both definitely, with Carl Lawson, I looked at the numbers. I mean, it's insane. The kid had 32 quarterback hits last year. 32. Quinnen had 14. That's more than double what Quinnen did. Then if you look at his quarterback knockdowns, which is an even more important statistic, he led the NFL. He led the whole NFL in quarterback knockdowns. The guy right below him with one less was TJ Watt, who had 15 sacks. So you look at Lawson, it's again, like the Shat Barrett is the best example I could think of. When he was with, the Broncos, he was putting up, 1.5, 2.5 sacks, but PFF was giving him a rating of 84. That's not normal for an edge rusher because the production wasn't there, but the high level of play was. And then it finally translated on the new team. And that's what I'm seeing with Carl Lawson.
Right. So thank you, New York Bully. I agree, and Harrison just said it very, very well. I think this guy, it's like it came out that this was the number one edge rusher on Joe Douglas's wish list for this free agency period. So while everybody was talking about this guy or Ngakoue or Judon or anybody, Joe Douglas had his sight zeroed in on this guy. And he went out there and he got him. And this is going to be the guy that we've been wanting. Now, him and Saleh are going to take this guy instead of the big name who wanted, $5 million a year more or whatever it might have been. This was the guy that they wanted. And if you look into him, you're going to be very, very happy. Harrison just put it very, very well. The guy, it's the only statistic that he's not crushing it in is the one that everybody happens to look at in the short form. It's just like sacks, but it's not about that, man. He affects more plays than any edge rusher out there. Mm-hmm. So I agree. And thank you again, New York Bully. I do appreciate it, my friend. So, all right, it looks like, I know, Bob Crowd. He's like, what are we doing again? I know. We're at pick 66. This happens every time.
What we're doing. Where am I? Who's there?
Yeah. Who is this? What are we doing? So, all right, just to recap, we were talking about potentially taking an edge rusher, Patrick Jones. That seemed to be the guy that we all like. Mm-hmm. Even though he's not necessarily on the PFN boards, as their highest rated, he's the one we like. Well, but we were also talking about the interior offensive line. Here's the guards. And here is the centers. We already got Creed Humphrey, right? So, I mean, if we want to get a natural guard, I'm not against it. It's just whoever you think is higher. I love Trey Hill, but I also love Deontay Brown. I like Ben Cleveland too.
On the guard board, I'm looking for, if you scroll down, is Zion Johnson there? Is he maybe further down? Just looking for big boy Zion. I like that kid a lot. Maybe he went already, possibly.
Potentially.
Maybe. But the way I look at, guys like Deontay Brown and Ben Cleveland, two monsters, monsters of the midway, like giant men, but we have a zone scheme with a lot of kicking out and motion. I just don't feel like the two of them have the agility and the speed that's necessary, personally, just when I look at those two men.
Right. It's a good point.
But they're behemoths. Well, especially Ben Cleveland. I think that guy's like 6'7", 360 or something crazy like that.
Yeah, look at it says large, wide-bodied blocker.
Yeah, but same thing like with Deontay Brown. It's just he doesn't have the quickness, and that's why, like, some people mentioned it before. I think it'd be interesting to try, see what tackles are available. If we're looking for athletic guards, maybe potentially we get a tackle and try Fant, because Fant is, unbelievably athletic as a potential idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think
just mixing it up because there's so many different options.
Totally. Walker Little's somebody I like.
That's a good one. Walker Little's a good pick. Carmen, same thing. I feel like he's too big a guy. He's not athletic enough, but I think he's a very good player.
Right.
Oh, that guy. That's a sleeper of mine. I just saw him a second ago.
Who's
that? He was a little further down. Cole Van Lanen. I like that kid. So he doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion. He's a prototypical tackle. He's about 6'5", 317, very athletic kid, good kickouts, excellent in the zone. I think he's a sleeper pick. I think Cole Van Lanen could, not immediately, because offensive line is one of those few positions that takes time to develop. Like people saw, we took Cam Clark last year. I love Cam Clark. Like Cam Clark fits the description of what Joe D looks for. Like Becton, he's a mauler. He's a finisher. He puts people down. He plays nasty. But line takes time to develop. It's one of those positions you don't just throw people in. So I wouldn't be shocked this year if Cameron Clark pushes for a starting guard position.
Yeah, I agree. I love him. I love that pick. So, all right, guys, somebody just said Buzz. I know we'd be in the penalty box right now. We would have lost our pick. So we're going to make a pick. I'm going to go ahead and take Patrick Jones because he's the one that we talked about the most. I'm taking him. Here he comes, and we'll move on.
Yeah, that's my bad. I'm big into the draft eval stuff, so I could just talk about every prospect I see.
Yeah. No, and look, that's part of the fun with this, so don't ever apologize for that. We all get caught up in that stuff. So let's take a look at what we got. Ooh, we're at pick 86, and the Buffalo Bills come a-calling. They want us to go back to 93. They'll give us next year's 6th. The Broncos want to give us 114, 152, and next year's 4th for 86th and next year's 7th. So 86 to 114, 86 to 93. Is next year's 6th round pick worth it to you? Let's take a look at our big board. Okay, so there's Eskridge right there. Quincy Roche is still on the board, but we just got Patrick Jones. Don't forget about running backs. I think we could use one. We have a tight end. Kenny Yeboah is still on the board, as is Trey McKitty.
McKitty's a good pick.
Who I like a whole bunch. Noah Gray. So they're all still, a lot of guys still there. Kenny Yeboah, we're getting to the point where he's going to start being in danger of not being there. Let's see what else we got.
So you said you like the running backs. I'm just curious who's available. Because at running back, it's interesting. I like a lot of later guys. Like, okay, so there's I love Khalif Herbert. Khalif Herbert is very underrated. That kid at Virginia Tech is a dynamo. He's really fast and really agile, but he's also pretty powerful and a good receiving back. He would be excellent in our system that we run. Chuba Howard, Kylan Hill is another one I really like.
Yeah, Kylan Hill.
Really like Kylan Hill a lot.
Yeah, I love him.
And then I think also that kid, he's very underrated and he's going to go so late. Someone's going to sleep on Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell is a great all-around back. The production is there too. He just goes to a smaller school, so he doesn't get the credit, but he is definitely going to be a really good late round pick. All three of those guys are late round running backs that I really like.
Yeah. Case, I don't know how to say. I want to call you Kasef, and I'm sorry. But tight end is not a luxury pick. I hate when people say that. I don't hate you, but I hate when people say that. As a matter of fact, I'm really hoping that they take one in the first 3 rounds because it's not a luxury pick. In this particular offense, if you look at the Shanahan offense, there's a gentleman by the name of Kittle who is about as important to that offense as any other player on the team. And let me tell you something. When you have a good tight end that can receive and can block, it literally changes everything. So I don't look at it as a luxury pick. I look at it as a necessary piece that people sleep on. So I'd appreciate it if you never said that again. Okay. I don't like it and I won't fucking have it. So, all right, man. We got running back, we got tight end, we got wide receiver. We did not grab the interior offensive lineman that we've been talking about. So let's make these quick. Come on, we got a few minutes. Who do we want? We got running back.
It seems like offensive line is a big – offensive line and running back seem to be the two. Richie mentions Adebo. Is Adebo still on the board?
Let's see.
Because that's a heck of a pick.
He is.
But that's a good eye then. Good eye by him. Adebo would be an excellent pick. Rodarius Williams is another sleeper of mine. The kid from Oklahoma State. Excellent size, prototypical outside cornerback.
Yep. So what do we want, chat? I'm thinking it's time for a tight end or interior offensive line because we still got some good ones that are sitting there. We should also grab a safety at some point.
Seems like a lot want to go offensive line. That seems to be the main. A lot of people want Cleveland, but I'm telling you guys, Cleveland and Deontay Brown are, two excellent big guys, but I just don't know if they have the athleticism to, really succeed in this system.
Yeah. The one that I would pick right now is Trey Hill. I love him.
That's not a bad pick.
Yeah.
He's significantly more athletic. So that's definitely a good pick. And again, that's my thing, with the center, Trey Hill could easily be a guard. Easily.
Right. So what do we want, chat? You got to clean it up. You're all over.
They seem to know they want offensive line, just not who.
Yeah. So let's get it down to offensive line and wide receiver for this pick. Okay. I'll show you so look, we got Trey Hill, Drake Jackson's another athletic one. Again, he can put on a few pounds, but he's a good one, man. And he's the type of player that I think Joe Douglas will like. We have Kendrick Green, Deontay Brown, Royce Newman. Which was the guy you like? Was it Aaron Banks? Is that who you said? Who did you say?
It seems like Adebo seems to be getting the majority of mentions.
Yeah, well, he's there. We could grab Adebo.
Seems that way. Definitely seems like Adebo. People are saying Adebo or Cleveland, but it looks like Adebo is getting more mentions in general.
Let's see.
I mean, it comes down to need. I mean, how you value guys. I mean, I think, Bright, like you said, I love Bryce Hall. I think he could potentially be an excellent CB1 and develop into one. Bless Austin, hopefully has a bounce back year. He struggled last year in, Greg Williams' defense, but a lot of people speculated that Williams used him wrong, which makes sense because he's a man corner. That's always how he's been. And he was like that in his rookie season when he did well. So he could have a bounce back year. And, we added Stokes already. Stokes, Bryce Hall and Austin could be, and then, Guidry in the slot. That could be an excellent cornerback combo right there on its own.
So here's our picks. I don't disagree. So we have a quarterback, an interior offensive lineman. We have a linebacker, Micah Parsons. We took a cornerback at 40, Eric Stokes, and we grabbed our edge rusher. I'm really thinking, guys, we should shore up that offensive line or get our quarterback a nice toy to play with. We didn't get him any toys. No toys.
Yeah, so people are agreeing wide receiver. I mean, who's available at wide receiver again? Because Dwayne Eskridge would be an excellent pick. He would be an excellent pick. He's considered to, guys like you mentioned before, like you said that we have a lot of big body guys and we could use more. Eskridge is very quick, athletic, and agile. He could play the slot, but he also could play outside, even though he's a smaller guy because of his physicality and arm strength.
Right.
And ability to create separation.
So yeah, that's a possibility. He's rated on their big board as 84. We're sitting at 86. So if he's the guy that we wanted, he's not going to be there very long. As you can see, Nico Collins, De'Ami Brown, Tutu Atwell, Marquez Stevenson, they're all there. So these are guys that are there. And I believe like I said, we've done this before where we've drafted a quarterback high and then didn't get him enough to use. And everybody chopped everybody's heads off, the coach, the GM, rightfully so. But we don't want to go and make the same mistake because we like Adebo sitting there. We all like Adebo. He's great. But we gotta, support our quarterback here, man. So what do you got? Yeah, but Daz Newsome we have a lot of time for him. We do. I wouldn't take him right now. That's a good New York Bully. I see you. Eskridge, wide receiver,
tight end, Tutu Atwell. Eskridge is a monster. I'm with you on my bully. Eskridge is a monster. And that's, the interesting thing about it, I do my own kind of take on this. I kind of invented my own words for it. I feel like there's a difference between being able to get separation and create separation. You look at a guy like Kadarius Toney. Toney is unbelievably agile, unbelievably athletic. He's going to get separation with his quickness. But I feel like if you put him on the outside, he's not strong enough. He's not going to be able to create that contested separation. When I look for creating separation, I look for a guy that can, physically line up with somebody like John Adams does and use his physical imposingness to make the catch as opposed to using his quickness and agility to do so. The beauty of Eskridge is he can do both. So that's what's exciting about a guy like him.
So I want to acknowledge and thank Chris Bucco. Chris Bucco, a man in the know himself. Thank you for the super chat, Chris. I appreciate it. He has one thing to say. Tommy Tremble, everybody. So he's another one I happen to like. That's that's an option right there. He does have some time. So thank you, Chris. I appreciate it, man. So guys, you want to take the wide receiver? Let's go Eskridge. That seems to be where most of the consolidated efforts have gone. So this is Harrison pick. So this is good. Thank you. Here he comes. He's coming on. Now let's see who's going. There goes Chaz Chirac. Quincy Roche made it this far. There goes my boy Kenny Yeboah. He's gone. There goes Adebo. Diami Brown. Kenneth Gamewell. Oh, this is a rough one. Joe Tryon's gone, New York Bully. All right, we're up. Wow. Look at the Texans offer. They want to give us the rest.
That's not a bad offer. That's not a bad offer. That's a lot. Because, at this point in the draft, anything 100 on, that's where GM earns his money, the guy that's done the research, and that's Joe Douglas. So if you're giving him, what was that? I think 5 more picks?
Right.
Give or take.
Additional picks. Right.
That's awesome. I mean, that's 4 additional late round guys he could potentially, hit a grand slam on.
And then we can clean up. And this is, see, what I'm hearing here is that Nick Caserio, the GM of the Texans, does not have confidence in his ability to find late round gems. He's like, you know what? I don't know any of these guys. I know one player left and I want him. That's it. That's what it sounds like. So you guys want to take this crazy ass trade? Look at this. This is a crazy trade. Now look, we don't have another pick for just about 40 picks. But I'm telling you, we get 146, 147, 154, 158, 186, 195, 203, 190, 233. So we're going to have a nice batch.
Yeah, and it seems like the consensus here, and I agree with everyone here, take it, don't make the trade, do it now. I think someone was like, don't even wait. That was Jetfan.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I'm with you, because, at this point, that's exactly it. Excellent GMs, like I feel Douglas is. Yeah,
let's counter it and see if we can't get every pick they have. Let's
take it more, but the more later round picks, the better at this point.
Right. All right. Let me see if I can get something else for it. Here we go. They said no. This is it. They're like, come on, man. All right. So I'm going to accept it. And we'll watch 107. Let's see who they wanted. Darius Washington. There it is. James Hudson off the board. Deontay Brown gone. Kyle Trask made it to 115. Couple tackles.
That's incredible. Kyle Trask made it to 115. That's crazy.
Anthony Schwartz. There he goes.
There goes Khalif Herbert.
Yep, there he goes. Monty Rice. Tommy Tremble, Chris. I was hoping he made it back around for you. Seth Williams, Tony Fields. These are all the guys I like. These are my late rounders right here. Trey Hill, there he goes. DJ Daniel, nice nickel.
See, now we got 2 back-to-back picks. That's nice.
Okay, so let's look. What did we just take? What was our last pick? A wide receiver, right?
Wide receiver, yeah.
We have running backs.
Kylan Hill's still on the board. I like Kylan Hill more than Hubbard.
I like Kylan Hill more than Chuba Hubbard as well.
Yeah.
But let's see the tight ends. We got Trey McKitty, Nick.
McKitty.
these are good guys, man. These are contributors. We still haven't filled that interior offensive line.
Some sleepers. So Darius Hutchinson, that's a sleeper offensive lineman. Same thing with Tommy Kramer. Those are two guys that could.
Kramer.
Yeah.
Right. Tommy Kramer's a good one. So is Jack Anderson out of Texas Tech. These are solid picks. Now, they might not be turnkey ready to come in this year, but these are guys that you want on your developmental track. They're all high potential to become contributors on the team. So I think we're getting into a realm right here where we can make make a real difference to the depth of this team.
Mikey, I like Mikey's point. Mikey Mouse makes a good point. I mean, we have a decent running back core right now with Ty Johnson, who's, very quick, very agile, good pass catching back. You got Adams, who's a bull. You got Tevin Coleman right now. But Mikey makes a good point. You got 2 back-to-back picks. You could take Chuba and Hill. And I mean, that'd be incredible. That would be that would be the 2 starters right there.
You could, I suppose, technically speaking. I wouldn't. I actually happen to like our stable right now. I really do. And you guys,
it is a good stable. Yeah.
We talked about this on Weapons Hot the other night. It's one of the areas where we agree. And that being said, I think grabbing a young guy to go with this batch, though. Somebody like Kylan Hill would be amazing in this. Yeah. And the same thing actually goes for Chuba Hubbard or Jarrett Patterson, a scat back kind of guy. I think these guys with this group, there's no pressure on them to be the big guy. We have the backs in there. We have the veteran Tevin Coleman. You bring in a young guy right now. Next year, you'll get rid of Josh Adams or Ty Johnson. And then this guy assumes that role with LaMichael Pirine. I know you don't like LaMichael Pirine. I happen to like him a whole bunch. But the point is still the same. Taking a running back would be good. This is a good place to do it. But we can't forget tight end. We can't forget safety. And we can't forget interior offensive line. We only have 1 lineman.
Yeah. Offensive line actually probably, I would think, the best way. Who do we have at tackle and guard would be the question. Like, what sleepers
tackles we got Jalen Moore.
Van Lanen's still there. I'm telling you, Van Lanen is a sleeper pick. He really is. Oh, and so is Alec Jackson.
Yeah.
Alaric Jackson from Iowa.
That's my little sleeper tackle.
Same with me, my man. We're on the same page.
I love him. So good.
But also Cole Van Lanen, telling you that kid has a lot of potential, especially as a right tackle.
Let's see. Robert Hainsey for the guard. Like you talked about before, Tommy Kramer's a good one. He's as good as I do like Jack Anderson. But I think Tommy Kramer might be the highest potential out of this top group here.
I'm with you. Kramer's got a lot of potential. And he's very athletic too, which is what you need in this kind of system.
So let's look, guys. Let's look at the big board, see what they're saying. You got Drake Jackson up top, a center I like. Victor Demukaje, a nice edge. Divine Diablo's still there, my Virginia Tech loving friends. You get into him at all? Charles Snowden.
So there's a decent amount. It looks like it's between mainly offensive linemen. There's no consensus of who, but it seems like the offensive lineman seems like what everybody wants. So if you guys had a pick between one of the tackles and guards, who would you guys take? Because it seems like offensive line seems to be mentioned the most.
Right. So we have 2 picks back to back. So let's say this. Let's take a running back and an offensive lineman. Tell me who the offensive lineman is that you want, and tell me who the running back is that you want.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how you want to go. If we were going to go guard, I'd probably go Tommy Kramer. If we were going to go tackle, I'd go Van Lanen, or I'd go with I have to look back at the board. I forgot who the other guy was there that I liked. And then at running back, I'd probably go Kylan Hill.
Yeah, I would lean Kylan Hill myself. I know some guys in the chat are big Chuba Hubbard fans, and I am as well. But I would pick Kylan Hill out of the 2. Don't forget my boy Charles Snowden later, but let's keep it to offensive line. So, again, I'll just run through this with you guys. We have Drake Jackson. He's the top-rated offensive lineman currently. Michael Manet, Drew Dalman, Jim Morrissey. The guards are David Moore, Robert Hainsey, Larry Borum, Robert Jones, like Greg Ellen, Jack Anderson, Sedarius Hutchinson, Tommy Kramer. And then we have Jalen Moore, Tommy Doyle, Cole Van Lanen, Alaric Jackson's there, and tight end. We have time, I think, for Trey McKitty. We can get him in the 150s.
Yeah, I like NY Bullies. I mean, he's got a great one right there. Kylan Hill and Cole Van Lanen, because Van Lanen is definitely underappreciated, but he's athletic, he's quick, he's strong. I love his technique and form. I feel like he's got a lot of potential. I mean, heck, I think he could even push George Fant to potentially be the starter this year. And Kylan Hill has running back one potential written all over him.
Yeah, look at these guys. KSE says, take both fatties.
Fatties.
David or Joshua Serrano, we want our fatties. These guys are into it. All right, so let's do Kylan Hill. Here we go. Where'd he go? There he goes.
And then we have back-to-back picks. So with the next pick, we could either go, Kramer at guard, or you could go someone like Van Lanen or a Lar Jackson at tackle.
I'm fine with that. That's who we're going to grab. Cole Van Lanen. The chat good? Any opposers before I click it?
What would you guys think if you guys could choose between Tommy Kramer at guard or Cole Van Lanen at tackle? What would be your option there? Because both are excellent additions. We got some Jackson. We got Jets by Jimmy in here. What's up, brother?
Hey, there he is. He's supposed to be working, man. Don't tell him. Don't tell on him.
Oh,
Jimmy, you're supposed to be working.
So it seems a couple for Kramer. He's got Kramer. I agree with you, Jimmy, man. Tommy Kramer is, we were talking about him before, underappreciated guard, but Van Lanen's also an underappreciated tackle. I think either one is an excellent pick.
Yeah, see, the thing is now, if we're paying attention to the board, Tommy Kramer, we're not in danger of losing Tommy Kramer right now. Okay?
If you could get Van Lanen and Kramer, that's amazing. Yeah,
Tommy Kramer is rated 276. We are at 147. He's going to be there. We can grab him with our last pick, and he's probably going to be safe. So I think it would be smarter. Don't forget, we want to pay attention to the board. So Cole Van Lanen, we're right in his pocket. Okay. Alaric Jackson's a little bit farther down. And let's look at the tight end, Trey McKitty and Nick Eubanks. We have a minute for them as well. So granted, the real board wouldn't look exactly like this, but these really good teams, good GMs and their staff have an idea when the board falls a certain way. They have at least an educated idea at the way it's likely to fall. So they're doing the same thing that we're doing right now without the numbers of a simulator, so they know where guys are rated for the most part.
Yeah, and that's the best example you can give, like you said before, where you don't get caught up in the numbers. Don't get caught up at, this guy's ranked here, so I shouldn't take him.
Yeah, Jets by Jimmy, you're a good dude. We're glad to see you, buddy. We're glad to see you. Everybody's saying hello. Don't forget to go sub to his page, everybody. All right. So we're going to get Van Lanen.
It seems to be the majority. Yeah. Say Van Lanen and then Kramer seems to be the order.
Yeah, and Kramer's later, so we could. And
that would be amazing. I mean, heck, those are two potential guys that this season or by minimum next season are going to be, a guard and a starting tackle.
Right, and there goes Drake Jackson, the pick after us. So that was correct. We were right in the pocket, man. Jalen Moore. So you see that there was a little mini run on offensive linemen immediately after our pick, so we would have lost them. 154 and 158. So we got our running back. We got a tackle. Now I'm really looking for tight end and maybe safety, Harrison. Divine Diablo is way up top at 151. He's one of my favorite defensive players in the draft. I think the world of him. He's a hard-hitting, very fast, good in coverage, and can catch. I know that people forgot that safeties should be able to catch, but that's actually one of their skill sets that you like. I know we make all these excuses for certain players that they don't have to catch because they're more of a linebacker, but I think that's hogwash.
Yeah, and if you're going to go safety, he's an excellent pick. I also like Tariq Thompson from San Diego State. But I think we're actually pretty good at safety because you look at, we signed LaMarcus Joyner. People figure when we signed Joyner, he's not that great at DB. That's because that's right. He's not a great slot cornerback or DB. But when he lines up at free safety, he's one of the best free safeties in the NFL. In his whole NFL career, he's rated at 90.1 at free safety alone. He's lit it up. So I love the idea of, LaMarcus Joyner at free safety, Marcus May at strong safety as well, because he can play the box, he can play up, and we still have Ashton Davis. And Ashton Davis is a burner with great speed, and he also could be a box safety. I mean, we saw last year, he blasted Cam Newton so hard, he took Cam out of the game, and Cam's a big guy. So I think the three of them make a pretty good trio at safety.
No, I don't disagree. I think you need that fourth one. I don't think Mollett playing safety again is a smart move. We're going to let him go anyway. Who was the other guy that we had playing safety?
Ashton Davis, the rookie?
No. The other, there was a
Lamar, the corner, Lamar Jackson?
No. There was another safety that he always slips my brain. I just cannot remember.
Elijah Campbell?
No.
Oh, you're thinking Matthias Farley.
Matthias Farley.
He's a special teams guy. Farley is 100%. I mean, he's an excellent special teams guy, but that's what Justin Hardy is. Justin Hardy is like one of the best gunners in the league. So I think Farley's gone.
Right. So I think it's pretty important in the later rounds of this draft to bring in a safety. LaMarcus Joyner's a 1-year contract. Granted, we all have high hopes. He has played well at free safety, but there's Divine Diablo, Jacoby Stevens, these kinds of guys, getting them in there while you have the trio you're talking about, because I'm very high on our safeties as well. I think it's the perfect move to do, especially when we just gained 4 extra picks. It's the kind of position that you want to consider. I think tight end would take precedence, in my opinion.
It seems the majority we have one for McKitty, couple for cornerback. It seems like Farley's got a lot of votes.
Let's see here.
Someone threw out Wyatt Davis. Man, if Wyatt Davis was still available, the draft is broken.
I know. Yeah, and the thing is, just like Joshua Serrano said here, it's like a player like Divine Diablo at this point in the draft, if you were actually able to get him here, which is not going to happen in real life, we know that, but we're watching our board. If you were able to get Divine Diablo here, you're getting an absolute steal. He's, like I said, he's not really going to be here in the real world, but we can get him. He's the top player, I think, on their big board, right? Yep, he's the number 1 player left. If we're going to think safety, there are a couple that are down a little bit that are still good, but he's a special player. Again, tight end, where was he? Trey McKitty.
It seems like the majority are saying like you, that either take McKitty at tight end or take Diablo at safety. That seems to be the consensus.
Okay. So if we're going to do that, Diablo's going first, no doubt in my mind.
Like you said, it's surprising he's there. I mean, it makes sense because for all we know, you said LaMarcus Joyner is a 1-year deal. May technically hasn't been re-signed yet. You have Ashton Davis on a long-term contract. You bring in a guy like him, you could see what combination works best.
Yeah, and don't forget, too, Marcus May's agent threw out the position change as something like a bullet May took for the team last year. So it doesn't lead me to believe he was too psyched about it. It was like kind of a thing he did because we needed him to for the earlier part of the season last year. We ended up switching him back to free safety, but he can do it.
Which I thought was a mistake. I mean, he's good at free safety, but he played well in the box. I mean, I thought a couple of games there, he looked a little bit like Adams. He was blasting people up, blitzing really well, taking out running backs. He looked good.
Was unbelievable. The first game, he was unbelievable. I thought he was going to be the best strong safety in the NFL.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. All right, so if we're doing that, let's go ahead and grab the guy on the big board right here, Divine Diablo. We'll get him. Boom. And then we will look at and see if Trey McKitty is still there. There goes Charles Snowden, Robbie Oak. There he goes.
You can see Trey McKitty. Or is Tommy McCramer still on the board, or is he gone?
Oh, yeah. Now? He's like he's rated 276 on their board.
Oh, that's late.
That's what I'm saying. We can get him.
That's really low for him. I would have had him more maybe at 160-ish to 180-ish.
Yeah, totally. I agree. And maybe even higher, honestly. But yep, that's where they have him. So we'll grab Trey McKitty. Chad, are you ready with this? It's kind of what we were working on.
It's a good move because McKitty's a good receiving tight end. So
absolutely. And he can block.
That seems to be what Joe likes. I mean, with Croft, Trevon Wesco.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping Trevon Wesco can transition to that use check position, at least to some degree, some
I'm
hybrid
100% with you,
variation of it. He's much more athletic than he was given credit for. And he is primarily a blocker, but his hands are significantly better than Adam Gase utilized. And he's, like I said, he's very athletic. I think he's a guy I have high hopes for him.
I couldn't agree with you more. I feel exactly the same way about him.
Right? Yeah, man. It's like we have some players. We weren't using them.
I'm excited, especially because you know how porous the offensive line was last year. Now you have a guy like Tyler Croft and Wesco that are above average blocking tight ends. That fixes an offensive line. That's a big help in the running game.
Absolutely. And dude, we barely used it. We were 11 personnel.
I know that boggled my mind. You have a blocking tight end like Wesco, and he's not in there on running for me. And also, you know, we mentioned before with the running back position, Ty Johnson and Josh Adams, when they played, they were pretty fantastic. The problem was Adam Gase just decided to give the ball to the 1,000-year-old Frank Gore for the whole freaking season. Dude, just hand the ball to Frank Gore until he turns into dust or something.
Adam Gase had no interest in getting us an opportunity to see the young guys. He kind of just made the decision, I'm going to get Frank Gore as many yards toward the rushing title as I can. I think he get him over third?
I know he broke the 16,000.
That's what it was. Like Adam Gase knew he was a dead man walking. And he just said, you know what? I like Frank Gore. He's a guy. I'm just going to give him the ball. What do I give a shit what Ty Johnson looks like? LaMichael Pirine.
But I love the way they compliment each other, man. The best example was the Raiders game. That was when the two of them got their opportunity to shine. And they had 178 yards between the two of them. And they really compliment each other well.
And he only ran them because he needed to, because Gore got hurt.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And then next week, he's like, oh, they did so well. They should sit.
Yeah, sit him down. That makes sense. I'm so fucking glad he's gone. All right, here comes Trey McKitty, my friends. Good pick, chat. Good pick. All right, so we are going to slide down. Let's see who's going off the board. Daz Newsome, there he goes. Chuba Hubbard, there he goes. Jamie Newman, finally, 169. Excuse me. All right, what do we got? Chaka Tony off the board. Jared Patterson, little Buffalo guy. Sage Surratt, man. When the draft speculation, started, when we first started digging in, Sage Surratt was considered a top 5 receiver in the draft.
So who do we have right now? If we could bring up, to show everybody what we've done so far, so we can see, what our needs are. So we've taken the center, we've gotten a 4-3 outside linebacker, we got corner, we got an edge, we got a wide receiver, running back, offensive tackle, safety, tight end. I might say, the bigger need right now might be another corner, perhaps. Sure. I mean, depending who's available. I wonder if, Rodarius Williams is still on the board.
Let's see. Oh, let's go cornerback.
Right. Kramer's still there. I still can't believe Kramer's ranked so low.
Carrie Vincent.
Oh, Vincent. Wow.
We took Stokes, not Samuel. Carrie Vincent would be a fantastic.
That would be an excellent pick. Yeah. Another sleeper, a lot of people don't look at him. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Demorie Lemore, the guy from Oregon. I like what I see in him. Lenoir has a lot of potential.
Diamador Lenoir.
Thank you. That's how you say it. Commodore.
Commodore Lenoir. Right on, man. So what do you guys think? We got cornerback. I'm still a big fan of the off. Let's check where Tommy Kramer is. That's kind of our guy, I think. 276. Like I said, we could probably grab him near the end. Well, we are near the end. Let me see.
You probably grab him at 190, maybe.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks left.
That's awesome.
We are crushing this.
That's why that trade back was so huge. And now this is where you get these depth guys.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's my chat want?
Let's see.
Carrie Vincent. I see a whole bunch of Carrie Vincent.
That's a smart move. I wouldn't
let's do
question it.
Let's get it done. Carrie Vincent is the guy.
And my bully. His name is like a Harry Potter spell. I knew I was saying it wrong. I thought it was Demorie. I knew I was saying it wrong. But yeah, it seems like Vincent's a big one. That definitely seems like that. Yeah. I think that's consensus. Yeah.
So we grabbed another corner, a nice nickel corner. Let's see. We're at pick 190. What do you guys like? We have not grabbed a defensive tackle. Thankfully, I don't think we need one. The offense, we could use another offensive lineman. Like I said, I think we're really shooting for Tommy Kramer. Like
Kramer's not a bad value pick now. Because, I mean, honestly, I would have had him ranked higher than this. So Kramer's definitely not a bad value pick. And Bob makes a good point, too. Kickers. We definitely need a kicker.
Yeah.
Would be somebody we would draft because we haven't had a good kicker in years.
There he is, Jose Borregales out of Miami.
What do they have him ranked at? I'm curious.
And Riley Patterson out of Memphis. He's 248 is the highest kicker. And
I would say Borregales, if I had to guess in the real draft, probably go late 190 somethings, early 200s, give or take.
Yeah, I think that's probably safe.
So I mean, now honestly, either Borregales or Kramer would be a good pick.
Yeah. Well, let's look at the big board and see who we're going to lose. So we got Robert Hainsey, Jacoby Stevens. Let's see who else we got here. Anybody that sticks out? There's Morrissey, Trevin Grimes, Cornell Powell.
Oh, Tamori and Terry. If you're looking for a sleeper wide receiver, that could be another one. They got Rumpf there.
Yeah. See, now this is where Rumpf taking
Alaric
a
Jackson.
guy like Rumpf. This is where taking a guy like Rumpf and the Alaric Jacksons and these are slam dunk picks because you don't need them to come in and contribute right away, but they're absolutely worthy of giving your developmental time. And these are guys that in a year or two could absolutely break the starting lineup or at minimum rotational, like a Rumpf being a situational pass rusher, like a Maben, quite frankly. And what's the chat thinking? What are we looking at, guys? Let's see. Jimmy, see you later. Did I miss him? We got Carrie Vincent. Good night, Jimmy.
Yeah, a couple of people like Terry, it seems, which is definitely a good pick if you're looking for a sleeper wide receiver. He is a beast. That's what's nice about Tamori and Terry. Tamori and Terry is a big, solid guy. He's not huge. He's about like 205-ish, but he plays very physical, but he's also fast. So he's an interesting combination guy. He could definitely develop into a solid outside option.
Okay, you guys into Tamori and Terry?
Seems like
we could wrap this up with a Alaric Jackson, Tommy Kramer.
It seems like Kramer and Terry seem to be the two.
All right, well, Terry's the one we're going to lose
biggest.
First. Let me see. No, we have time for him to. But yeah, I mean, we're getting to that point. We got 4 picks left. We take Tamori and Terry. We take Tommy Kramer, Alaric Jackson types, Jose Borregales, and call this a day.
And I wouldn't be surprised, again, with the kicker. You don't want to wait too long. I think Borregales could go around here. This is about the time where he could be off the board.
So then you guys into taking Borregales, and then we'll take Tamori and Terry at 195?
I mean, the way you should look at it, guys in the chat, is we haven't had a good kicker in a long time. Kicker makes a big difference. Kicker could be the difference between, winning the game, losing the game a lot of times. And, we haven't had a good one in a while, and Borregales is by far the best option.
Yeah, and that's one of the areas, like everybody, insinuates that I'm a Joe Douglas homer, which isn't necessarily the truth. I just happen to like what I see. But one area I'm extremely critical is his management of our kicker position. I think it's been an absolute flop, what he's done so far.
He's tried. He's brought in a lot of guys like McLaughlin.
A lot of losers.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Everyone he's brought in has sucked. That's been the problem.
So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and take Borregales. Chat, you good? Terry now, kicker later. Okay.
Yeah, and I see like Alex is saying, you hate doing it now. But again, you look at the value in 5 picks, all the guys we're talking about. I mean, Kramer should definitely still be on the board. Right. The corner we were talking about should still be on the board.
All right, so I'm going to do what the chat says. I'm going to grab Tamori and Terry, and we'll see if Borregales gets picked.
Terry's a good pick.
There goes Robert Hainsey, Jacoby Stevens. Oh, we're getting a trade offer. You guys want to? Let's see. Let me see something here. We have one offer. Hold on a second. So we have 195, 203, and 233. Okay. So their trade offer is to go back to 204. So we go back 9 spots. We gain 221. So we'd have 203, 204, 221. And what was the other one? Let me see. 233. Yeah. So that's what we would have.
Yeah. I mean, I would be worried about missing out on the kicker again, before thinking like Creed Humphrey
Yeah,
with the
that's what I'm
Steelers.
thinking.
If I'm looking at the board, my guess would be if we passed on them, the Giants could go kicker.
Yeah.
The Raiders could go kicker.
And let me tell you that there's nothing wrong with taking a kicker in the 6th round.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. Yeah. This isn't the 59th pick.
Right, exactly. Absolutely.
Man, Mike Nugent could have made every field goal from then to eternity. He wouldn't have earned the 59th pick.
I know. What a stupid pick that was. Was that the same year that we gave them our first for Dudley?
It is the same year. It's just that whole year. A lot of Jets drafts, you just want to take them and flush them down the toilet and pretend they didn't happen.
And the next one, they traded 2 firsts to move up, 2 first-round picks to move up in the deepest defensive tackle draft in a decade. They take 2 first-round picks to move up for Dwayne Robinson, and like 3 defensive tackles in that first round had better careers than him. It's just, I don't know. That's Terry Bradway for you. That was that GM. So okay. We ready to take Tommy Kramer and Alaric Jackson and the kicker? When do they want to take the kicker?
It seems like they want to wait on the kicker, but I'm telling you guys, you might risk losing them. And there are other decent kickers on the board, but Borgie's supposed to be the best one.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I'm taking the kicker. I see enough people in there saying take the kicker. All right. We're taking him.
It makes sense. It's a great value pick.
Yeah. Jose Borregales. We got a kicker.
Finally, for the first time I think for the first time since Nick Folk.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
It is. It's crazy, man. Isn't that funny too? We have 2 Pro Bowl guys. We have Andre Roberts, All Pro, and Jason Myers, Pro Bowler, and Mac decided, I don't need either one of those guys. That's great. We let them both go. So stupid, man.
Well, Matt couldn't draft. That was his problem. He couldn't draft to save his life. He was one of the worst. Like you said before with Joe Douglas, that's what sold me on him. Like I talk about it on my podcast and stuff. Like I'm a big talent evaluator guy, and for every Jets GM, just everyone in the past, the pick would come up and I'd be like, like I'm doing here. There'd be about 5 or 6 guys I like, and then they'd go out of left field and take some freaking guy that I didn't even think they would reach that, and I would hate it. Finally, we get a guy like Joe Douglas. Man, it was everybody. Just every single, except the few guys I mentioned to you last time we spoke, just so many hits. Like guys off my board, guys I wanted.
Dude, it's incredible. And like even when they weren't the player I was necessarily thinking of, it still made sense. Like I understood it. And it's like with Mac, I'm telling you, I didn't know what he was trying to accomplish every single. I'm like, what is this? I don't even understand.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and grab Tommy Kramer. We've been talking about him. Or should we hold on a minute? Let me just see here. Alaric Jackson is 223. Tommy Kramer is 276. I say we take Alaric Jackson.
It depends. I mean, maybe if you want to go Kramer, because you took, Cole Van Lanen as a tackle. But Jackson can play both. Jackson actually is a player that's projected to be able to play guard also.
Absolutely. And then we have he could be a swing tackle in 2 years too, Alaric Jackson. So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and shore up this offensive line with 2 late-round studs, I think. We all agreed on Tommy Kramer, but Alaric Jackson's going to go earlier. So we'll grab him now. He's going. So here he comes. Let's see. How many picks we have? 2? 2 more now. Let's see. There goes Chris Rumpf. He would have been a good one. Nick Eubanks. Mustafa Johnson. Sedarius Hutcherson.
Elijah Mitchell.
Yep.
He's definitely a sleeper, that kid.
Yeah. Israel Mukamu is another one we like.
Yeah, I was going to mention him. He's another good safety. Yeah.
Yeah. So here comes Tommy Kramer. We'll wrap this up. Look at him, the top guard on the board, finally.
Man, that's amazing offensive line right there. You get Kramer, Alaric Jackson, and Cole Van Lanen. Yeah, that's some great offensive line depth picks right there.
Yeah, don't forget Creed Humphrey. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying with the last value-wise at the end of the draft, like that's 3 amazing guys right there at the bottom of a draft.
Yeah. So we're going to let this wash out. Let's try. There goes Des Fitzpatrick. Let's try to see. Oh, I can never see who Mr. Irrelevant is. All right, guys. So here's what you did. In this week's 10 o'clock mock, we started out with number 2 overall, quarterback Zach Wilson out of BYU. Then we went with Creed Humphrey, the offensive center out of Oklahoma. We had a major steal, Micah Parsons at pick 34 out of Penn State. Cornerback Eric Stokes out of Georgia at pick 40. Patrick Jones, the edge rusher out of Pitt at 69. Dwayne Eskridge, the wide receiver out of Western Michigan at pick 86.
That's gold.
Running back Kylan Hill out of Mississippi State. Cole Van Lanen, offensive tackle out of Wisconsin. Safety Divine Diablo out of Virginia Tech. Tight end Trey McKitty out of Georgia. Carrie Vincent, the cornerback out of LSU. Tamorian Terry, another wide receiver out of Florida State. Kicker Jose Borregales. Tackle Alaric Jackson out of Iowa. And wrapped it up with Tommy Kramer, the guard out of Notre Dame.
Man, that is an amazing draft. That is literally one of the best drafts I think I've seen. That if that happened on like draft day, I will erect the statue of Joe Douglas starting April 30th.
Dude, this is great. And I say this every week, man. Now, look, obviously what we're doing here is not as amazing as the real life, right? Right, obviously. But any semblance of what we just did, and we would all be happy with. Why have we been so miserable for so long? It's not cool, and it's over. We can trust this guy. Joe Douglas can absolutely put something together like we just did, something that looks like this, and we would all be happy. So, guys, give me your grades, letters A through F, or you can give the letter Q for I'm dumb if you want to do that.
Man, that is a killer draft. Like I could go through player by player. That is insane. That is an amazing draft. Whew.
Yeah. And you're awesome to have around, man. How'd you guys like Harrison, too? Give me the grades, and then you can thank Harrison. I think he was a major addition. I think you got a lot of great info, my friend, and I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It was awesome being here. I really enjoyed myself. It was a lot of fun. It was really awesome, interacting with all of you guys and going over the picks. It was really enjoyable.
Isn't this a good time?
Yeah, no, it really was. I had a great time, man. This was awesome. A lot of fun.
Isn't it? It's like
I love prospects, and that's a big thing with me. So, like as you saw, like I just like to talk about all the guys, get everyone's. I love how everyone's chiming in with who they think they want. I love it. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate all the comments. I really do. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And if you guys, if you want to check me out again, I do my podcast a little earlier today, Mondays at 7. Check me out. It's my name right down there. You can find me on YouTube. It's the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast.
Right. And what's your Twitter as well?
Yeah, definitely. You can find me on Twitter as well. My Twitter is at NYJets. TF Media, because that's my company. I have my own Jets company, Take Flight Media. We do reporting and we write as well. Our website is takeflightmedia.org.
Yeah. So I also, in the description to this video, I put all his info down there. If you forgot it, it's hard to, when people are saying it, get a hold of it. If you're looking for it, it's all in the description of this video. Harrison, I'm seeing a whole bunch of A's. I don't know if I've seen a B.
I agree, man. And I'm telling you, this draft blew my mind. Just again, with the talent we're able to get, literally every single position. I can't think of one on that board where it's a bad value pick, where you reached for anybody. It is incredible. And you got multiple offensive linemen. Like, I just got to zoom this in. I mean, it's incredible. You got your center of the future, quarterback of the future, one of the best 4-3 outside linebackers in the draft, outside corner, top edge, top wide receiver, top running back, lineman depth, one of the best kickers in the draft, the best safety, one of the best safeties, great tight end, another receiver. Man, this is a stacked draft. This is if Joe did this on draft day, I couldn't be happier. This is no joke. This is literally one of the best drafts I think I've seen, period. Definitely, without a doubt.
See, this is what happens when we have a consensus. We take the time to hear people, to listen. And it always goes like this. This has probably been the least contentious draft, too. We were good boys for you tonight, Harrison. I see 1 B+ from Richie McDonald.
That seems to be the lowest. Yeah, it seems to be probably A+, A-.
Yeah. Good night, Matt. I'll see you, buddy. So, guys, we're going to wrap this up. It's late. It's 10 after 12. I'm yelling and screaming in my aunt's house. And she just let us stay here for a night, and I'm yelling and screaming at midnight in her house. So I probably should cut that shit out. So I want to thank you once again, Harrison, Glazer, everybody. Your information is in the description of this video. And I thank all you guys. You guys are the absolute best. I love hanging out with you every Monday night. And you'll see, I just put my podcast out today. It's called something like Pro Days Trade, the truth of pro days and trades. And it goes deep into the reality of what this shit we're hearing about all week really is. Take a listen. I think you guys will like it. And with that, you guys have a great night. We'll see you next time. Hold on, Harrison. Good night, everybody. Or it could mean 12. If you want me to slide back 10 spots out of the top 3, past the top 5, past the top 10, you better be coming with more than a first next year and a first the year after that. I want a first, a second, a third. I want a first and second next year. And I want a first and third, and then the year after that. That's why. And they were like, we can't afford that. He said, I know you can't. So just tell him we didn't talk. I don't want to embarrass you. That you don't have enough money to pay for my drill. My drill is worth $380, you see. And you're coming here with $50. You better talk to the Dolphins. I hear they're cheap. I love Jets fans. You name one other organization that deals with the shit that we deal with and is still this passionate. Sure, you got the little segments, the dog pound. But look at the Patriots fans. They just had 20 years of there are kids, there are 20, 21-year-old, 25-year-old people in this world that are Patriots fans who have never known losing. Never in their entire lifetime. They were born into this Belichick-Brady thing, and they have consistently won. They've won 6 Super Bowls. They've been to 9 or whatever it is. And then when they didn't get in there, they were the AFC Championship game or the semifinals or whatever. And what happens the year that Tom Brady leaves? Dude, you have droves of people leaving the Patriots. These are diehard Pats fans. This is what they have. Diehard Pats fans going to be Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. Why? Because I'm a fucking fan of Tom Brady. Bullshit. What is that?